Welcome all to a special film club. One, we're early, and we're late, so I don't know how that happened. But that was it. But we're doing on Sandy's highly must go to cinema, guys. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this moment of Project Hail Mary that only got released on Thursday for you.
Yes,
and I saw it last week.
Yep.
So I had the.
Keep your mouth shut, and he did. He did keep
yes.
his mouth shut.
I was like, "Do I put anything in the chat?" And I was like, "No,
No.
I'm just gonna be completely radio silent." So that's what I did. But Sandy, you saw it on Thursday.
Thursday
so you saw the
evening.
and
I did.
Jay, you saw it the official opening. What was yesterday or today?
No, we had the same screenings as of Thursday, and then I almost went Monday because if you had an Amazon account or a Prime account, you could get like a special Amazon screening because it's one of their movies.
Really?
However, life got in the way and I wasn't able to, so I just saw it. I'm literally fresh off of coming back from it. I just got home about 30 minutes ago.
Okay, so you're really. Okay, I need to
it's a bit of process.
Exactly. It first as well.
Digest all, process, and then form opinion. So I'll be kind of going on the fly here.
Yeah, I must say that was how I felt. I was like, I need to digest. Like that. I was like, what did I do? What did I watch? Now, guessing Sandy, do we need like a bell in the book? Are we going to have that moment? Are we going to get a lot of that? Because I'm going to.
It would be ringing constantly. I have a feeling.
Okay.
So, but I think for good reasons, because I'll just say it right here and right now. This film is incredibly consistent with the book. So I'm not going to be saying what was strikingly different or, oh my God, they changed it completely. There were little tweaks that had to be made. And so I'm not going to be, right off the bat. By the way, what we need the little bell for right now, air horn. This is going to be a spoilery review. So
yes, I've got it ready. I've got it ready.
Yeah, it has to be a spoilery.
I think you have to when you talk about. I think we've done it before. When you talk about certain movies, you can't help reveal an unreveal because I don't think there's. If we did I suppose was it Infinite Wars or something like that, you'd be like, look guys, we're not going to spoil it because it's going to bugger up the next movie. When this is like a one and done movie, I think you can talk about it. And I'm sure if you're a fan of the books, and I think you would have gone in the first 2 days, and UK's already had it out for a week. So if you're not seeing it in the UK, well, you're not really going to want to watch it then, probably.
And it's one of those things. Whenever whether it's us or anybody else who's doing YouTube live reviews or discussions about movies that are out, I mean, you kind of have to expect that spoilers will be in there. Maybe not throughout the whole thing, but there's going to be spoilers in there.
You can't help but slip. We can't help it. So, but anyway,
you kind of got to expect it.
I'm gonna keep doing it. We're gonna do this, guys. So there's gonna be bits and like that. But I think a lot of it was also I had it because I've only got the screenshots of the trailers, and we'll show you a couple of those.
I was wondering how we were going to do the images for this one. I was curious.
That's it, like that. I couldn't go on the on a pirate ship.
No, don't be doing that.
No. So that would have been a move, but. Yeah, it's you just do a little bit of this, but I think most of it we're going to talk, and I think Sandy's going to have a little bit of moment. That's it. So, is there a third book? Has he done another one?
There is.
Andy Weir, is it?
So, if you don't mind, I'll share my screen really quickly. Just oops, I lost him. Just a quick note about the author. So, the author of originally The Martian is Andy Weir. Andy Weir is a contemporary science fiction author who began his his life as an author, as an engineer, I think a software engineer. There's a YouTube video. I think I'll have to find it, but if you search Andy Weir, he's giving a talk about the writing process. He wrote The Martian, posted it to his own website, and then, you're not going to believe this, he published it through Amazon as an unknown. He's one of
No
those
kidding.
people who put his book up on Amazon. And when I say, yes, I have a first edition of The Martian, I have the first officially printed hardcover book of The Martian. I do not have a first edition of The Martian because that would have been an Amazon Press version that would have come out. And amazingly, he wasn't plugged into the industry. He just had a great network of engineers and science people who really thought his writing was good. And eventually, when it did get some traction on Amazon, it rocketed up to like the #1 sci-fi download on Kindle. And from there, everything started snowballing really, really quickly, including the film, him selling the film rights to The Martian. And of course, they asked, "Well, what you got going next?" And it was Project Hail Mary, which he didn't have to self-publish on Amazon. But what an amazing story! And in this talk that's recorded on YouTube, I think he was giving a lecture at a university. He talks about just being a struggling author who couldn't put 2 pennies together, and now look how successful he is. And what his passion is still mathematics and engineering, and you get that in his writing, and you certainly get that in the films. And for me, and I didn't hear this in any of his commentary, but I think there's a difference between science fiction and science realism. Like, I think all of his writings, The Martian, Project Hail Mary, and Artemis, are plausible, right? They're not way out there science fiction. They're definitely plausible. They make your brain work too, which is really cool. So now let's dive in. I just wanted to kind of give the background on who the author was.
That's really great to know, because I knew nothing about him, really.
I say I've never read the books. I like The Martian. Where, Jay, did you rewatch The Martian? Because we said
I wanted to. I had every intention of it, but
I don't think you needed to.
Well, I started watching One Piece anime because now I'm like hooked on One Piece again, and it really consumed my nighttime watching before bed. Yeah, so all my kind of before bed watching was
for the next 10 years, won't it?
Yeah, seriously. I don't know if I'll be able to make it through, or how much I'll be able to make it through. But
I got up to season 3, and I was like, I kind of needed just a break. I was watching like
I can see it's the only way you could ever get through it. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So I will, I'll say about The Martian, again, what I really liked was that it was plausible, that it went into the science. I think the pace of The Martian against the book is very parallel. The book is smaller than Project Hail Mary. The Martian is shorter. And I think the way Matt Damon, the character in the character, I can't always forget his name, the way his character in the film has to figure stuff out. You see it step by step in the film. Contrast to Project Hail Mary, you see the eureka moments, but you don't see as much as him writing it out. Yeah, he's writing some formula on a whiteboard from time to time, and he and Rocky are trying to work things out.
Mark Watley.
Watley, that's right. But compared to what's in the book about the thinking process, the awesome part of Andy Weir is he's not telling you science or even teaching you science. He leads you to it. Like, and I'm jumping ahead, but just for an example, when Rocky gives Ryland Grace the chain, the 2 little necklaces that look like they're tied together, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I don't have one of these. Thanks for the gift." And then, like, the audience and the readers of the book know what that is. He's, in the book, it'll say something like, he picked up a chain of, 8 little clear gems connected to 8 little clear gems. Well, anyone who remembers 4th grade science knows that's an oxygen atom, right? That's breathable oxygen. That's O2. And it took him a minute to get there. And the way the book is written, it's like that. It's those little steps of science that brings the reader, even sometimes ahead of the characters, which keeps you so engaged in the writing. In Project Hail Mary, we couldn't quite do that because there was so much more complicated science. So I will not be saying, well, in the book, he did it differently. So I'm just I'm going to make that broad statement that in the book, it dives a little deeper into calculations and formula and testing out different elements and, all of that stuff. I won't be doing that here because I'm encouraging everyone. We're spoiling the film, but I'm not going to spoil the book. There's a little more in the book. So I'm encouraging everyone to go get the book, watch the film, get the book, watch the film again and again and again. All right, now we can start.
Fair enough.
There we go. Yeah. So I must say the trailer, literally here, it starts off as the movie kind of starts.
Yeah, pretty much.
It literally comes out of hibernation. Well, coma, isn't it?
It's a coma. It's an induced coma.
Yeah, and for reasons that we get into, but his first interactions are kind of it's who am I? He's kind of got a little bit of memory loss, hasn't he? So I'm guessing for these time in there, like how would you? I don't know, what would be an induced coma for how long? I don't know. And I'm guessing there'll be sequences to get you out. I don't know the science.
In the book, you are going to get those sequences of, how everything starts working again. The brain, the body, he the way he, in the book, there's quite a longer period of time before he can even move, before he can even get out.
I did notice that. I'm like, I don't think he'd be climbing ladders this soon, but I figured they're probably speeding it up for the sake of runtime, so fair enough.
Yeah, they condensed a lot of processes in the film. And I would say 90% of them, I like what they did. There was one that I didn't like that I'll comment on a little bit, but there was one that they, or that they could have dwelled on just a bit more. But I will say, reading the book, the chapters alternate between present time, him on the ship, and those flashbacks, which is the same way the film is constructed. But I just wonder, and this is where and I asked my husband and he didn't quite get it because he went with me too and hadn't read the book. But I wonder if those who didn't read the book understood that was what he was seeing in those flashbacks. They weren't just sequential. They were his memories coming back because he had been in a coma.
I wouldn't have clicked that on.
And if you notice the very last memory, which we'll get into, but the very last memory, the book goes a little bit into the memories you want to remember and the ones you don't. And that the very last few are the ones he didn't want to, he kept, way down. But that's how the book is. It's back and forth between you're on the ship and you're remembering, why am I here? What has happened? And I love the way, and it's written this way, is I'm 11.9 light years away from my apartment, not from Earth, from my apartment. That's how personal this is, right? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it would have been good to have him just do a deep breath after or before every memory. That would have been kind of cool if it was in the book. Just go, oh, like that. Just a realization of that's new. Kind of it's just come back to me. It just I think I'm with Jay. It just seemed a bit easy. You being anything and they're the other two astronauts who are now decomposing. They've been there for months. So we don't know and it kind of skipped over exactly how they spoilers how they died. It's just like that to leave him in space alone. And this is where I'm gonna have to ask Sandy, the ship computer, does it give him more information in the book? Because in this, it seems it doesn't really at the
It
start.
doesn't.
No.
So
Really?
the ship computer is really focused on life support. Now there are he's got all these laptops. They've loaded up on this ship literally every bit of human information. And the development, and I guess obviously this doesn't come through in the film too much, but to get to launching the Hail Mary, I think was 3 years from the time that they discovered what was, what was going on to the sun until they launched. So during that 3-year time, Ryland Grace is part of the team. As you see, he's contributing. He's doing a lot of the primary science on the astrophage. What they twisted just slightly, a little bit, or left completely out, is probably what contributed to the deaths of Yao and Ileana, and that was that they needed the smartest people who could do the job. They needed volunteers, and by the way, early on in the book, Ryland says, well, who the heck would volunteer for a suicide mission? And Commander Stratt says, well, over 6,000 already have. And that's kind of a punch to him because his personality has always been just a little bit self-serving, not even comprehending that people would volunteer for a suicide mission to save the world, right? To save the earth and to save the universe. So when she says over 6,000 have volunteered, and he says, oh, no problem then. And she says, well, our problem lies in 1 in 7,000. So this form of induced coma is problematic for 6,999 out of every 7,000 people. Only 1 in 7,000 people can survive the length of the coma that they're going to have to put them in order to get to the star. Yeah. And it's related to their DNA. So, of all the people who volunteered, just a handful had that DNA signature that would allow them to be, possibly survive this very long coma. What he doesn't know is he's one of them. They took that thread completely out of the film because in the book, from very early, oh, this is why he's going. Because not just because he's a genius, but because he's got the gene that makes him more likely than not to survive. And even those who have it still might not survive, which is why Yao and Ileana did not make it, because it was such a dangerous, it's 13 years to the star, 13 years to the star, 13 years for the probes to come back. There would not be enough food nor energy for the astronauts to come back. So anyway, so that whole thing kind of leads to, we don't have to really wonder why Yao and Ileana passed away. It was a pretty high chance that one
it's
or
very dismissed though, isn't it?
I wish they just mentioned it in like one of their meetings with the other scientists or the other, whoever they were meeting with. Just mention that that's like a kind of portion of what goes into the people chosen to make this trip.
Yeah.
Just because then, at least as an audience member, I would have been able to assume, oh, okay, they must have been two who obviously their biology didn't agree with it and they unfortunately passed.
Yeah.
I would have been able to quickly make sense of it and just move on. I just kind of kept waiting for an explanation for it and, never got it.
Because even if you got like, when we get the next part of the shift is like him remembering, but now I'm going to say remembering because he's remembering. When he get the flashback in his classroom, it would have been good to have that knowledge of like, because there's not just going to, because they say that he's kind of been flagged because he wrote a book once that was dismissed by everybody because of him saying that not all life needs to be hydrogen based.
Right, not all life needs water.
Yeah, so it would have been good also because I'm guessing there are many people have written a book about in the same field as him. It would have been good to know that they kind of picked him because somewhere back in the day he gave a sample of his blood and then they could process the DNA. That would have been quite good to have that. We got these guys. Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah. Oh, by the way, he did this as well, just to kind of give you a little insight. Why is that? bit of curiosity.
And why he survived. Yeah.
Why did he survive? Because he's a it has to be part of the 7,000 or whatever, the group to do it. But but at the first, like the instance of it is very it is quite slow the first, because we get, of course, him waking up from a coma, we get a little bit of a flashback, and then we kind of get I suppose a depression sequence, but not overly. He's trying to find his way around the ship, being alone. He goes through like, who is he moment, kind of, but looking through all the rest of the crew's possessions, and then it kind of comes out that he's Grace. It's
and they all have
moment.
pictures with family and all kinds of fun things they've brought along, and he's got nothing. He's got a picture of himself.
He's got a mop. He's got a mop.
And, yeah, I mean,
dresses up a mop, doesn't he? An answer with like that. So but the thing that kind of frustrated me, because again, he's writing everything on the note. The whiteboards.
The board.
I want you literally give me some science. Like, give it, like he could have vocalized some bits to make him seem clever, because I don't understand what that is. Whatever this, like the algebra is, or whatever they put on there, I don't understand that as a viewer. So that was a bit disjointed when they were going, I'm just going to write on a whiteboard, and then they went, oh, that's it. I'm like, can you just tell me it? Or even later when he's doing what they do in The Martian, if I'm going to reference that, when he does the recordings, he's doing like a diary, just kind of explain it in that. Oh, I had like a eureka moment. They don't really do that. So it's a bit of a, like as a viewer, I understand what they're on about, that kind of science. You don't really get it. You just understand that he's trying to figure stuff out. It's a bit of a, where am I going to that? And of course, once you're seeing the space bit, then you jump back to the recruiter. And what's her name? I forgot her name.
Strap.
She's Norwegian, isn't she, or French? She's French.
Well, so she's Danish in the book. She's East German, and do you notice I don't know.
Yes.
There was that throwaway line about her being in an East German choir. That would only resonate with people probably no younger than us, because once you get, I don't know, I knew there was a East and West Germany.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jay does. I'm sure anyone younger has no clue what that means. That whole growing up communist and being deprived, really, and growing up in scarcity. So she knows about, like, trying to prepare for rationing and scarcity and all that kind of stuff. Boy, did she play it well. She very much matched the character from the book. I think I mentioned the character I imagined when reading the book was a little more dweeby, but definitely had the round glasses that Ryan Gosling had. But her Strat, oh my gosh, that is her 100%. I had like kind of what she looks like combined with Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my Strat,
Yeah, so she's doing the science recruitment a little bit. So she goes, it's not a request. You've got to kind of come with us. Is like that, isn't it? So when they get that, and it's weird. I must say, when they go on to like their first science visit, he's kind of it's kind of a test to him to examine the what's it called?
Astrophage.
Astrophage. Is this set how far into the future of today?
2035. 9 years from now.
Okay, not 9 years. Okay. It seems
the book
like
was written
NASA
in 2021.
It seems like there's a world NASA, not a NASA.
So this is I guess, I don't know, we call it NATO or whatever, but there's a
space NATO.
Yeah, world military organization.
If they do it, I'm rejoining. If they do space
No.
military, I'm gonna get.
They
Yeah.
decided to work together, but they don't trust each other.
Mhm.
And that's why she's so intent on, getting this fixed as soon as possible, because although in the book they have figured out a way to slow down the temperature drop, they're going to raise the Earth's temperature, basically do what we're doing now, which is, the carbon emissions and everything. They're going to jack up carbon emissions, destroy the Earth a little more through global warming in order to save the Earth a little bit, or at least prolong the freezing. But she already knows that the problem is not going to be the science. And even if they came up with a great idea, it would be opportunist countries and people trying to take advantage of total disaster. And she knows that, of course, in the book, they're going to say China and Russia and other countries that are going to not play nice. So they're all together, but I don't know how well it came across in the film, but this is not a film where everybody's working together rah. Even though they have that little scene in the film where they're singing and karaokeing, they're not. They don't trust each other. They have to do this.
I would have got that if they get they do something with the astrophrine, don't they? To make it explode. And it would have been good to see, because you have all the different nations, is somebody going, we can use this as a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Not to save Earth, because you're always going to get that dickhead. Like that, who goes, Earth, no, don't worry, we can use this as a weapon. Like, they would have been good to have that divide, because it seemed that everybody, when you have everybody by like the glass panels and they're all like, oh, well done, he's figured out its life, and we can trust him. It seemed like they were all a bit dim. They're all just in suits, and then but then of course they're not stupid, because they've got into a position of that much power. So it's just a bit odd not to have. You have Grace as the American, and then you have I suppose his handler, and I can't remember his name.
Okay, Carl. Let me tell you
Carl.
my chief complaint about this film. There is no Carl in the book.
No kidding.
No Carl.
I liked Carl.
I did.
I liked
liked
him.
it. I was like, I wanted actually more. I was like, oh, I bet he's got downside. I was like, have a bit of humor, but
I think they needed that humorous, diverse character for
not
this
much,
film.
though, was it?
And that annoyed me a lot.
Okay.
I'll say, as somebody who doesn't know the book, I actually really liked Carl. I thought he was a great.
Me too.
Just, again,
like,
he's not like he has a big role, but just a little bit of the comedy with a little bit of an odd couple type of comedy with him and Ryan Gosling's character.
And see, in the book,
That's
that was him and Strat, so it was like, yeah, but whatever. It's like, oh, you don't need a Carl. You don't need a Carl. But also, when we're gonna, get to the point of, they're flown to the aircraft carrier and they're making discoveries about astrophage, and then they realize how much power is in these little tiny cells. They're living cells. The scene where the lab completely is obliterated, there were 2 complete crews being trained, 2 crews of 3. There was a pilot and a co-pilot / engineer and a science officer on each crew. Well, the 2 science officers ended up hooking up Dubois and the other gal, I forget her name. So they're spending a lot of time together, both science officers. They decide they want to do their own experiment on astrophage. They go to the lab, they blow themselves up and obliterate the lab. Now both science officers are gone. And there were protocols where there were never supposed to be 2 people. The 2 crews were never supposed to be together, and 2 people in the same position were not supposed to be together, but because they were now an item, they were together, which was endangered the mission, and is why now we're here with needing Grace to suit up and get into space, because they've just obliterated themselves and many, many hundreds of other people.
Yeah, I'll go into that later. What I'm like, would that have been true? But yeah, so we kind of get like through the movie, we kind of the first probably like 20-30 minutes is the kind of back and forth of like having this go between him being recruited, and I can't remember, like when he finds it out, he kind of goes, "Well, you got other people," and he's like, "But she kind of eggs him on. Well, don't you want to be part of this great discovery?" And then it kind of gets him into it. But then you kind of get then shooted back into space, to him kind of just again just bumbling around trying to figure it out, and it's a bit disjointed, like just between the two, because you would hope that the pace of that bit, you kind of want to be a little bit of more of a little bit together with what's happened with him, and then the science bit there. It just felt, for me, a little bit disjointed, but it kind of makes sense what you're saying in the book, that they've missed out bits to kind of get the pace forward. But yeah, on this, they've never made out that he's a certified genius. He just wrote a book that had kind of a theory in it, let's say that. So when he kind of makes the next breeding discovery, isn't it? So he kind of comes out that they are, because what is the line called? What is the line
Petrova line? So there was a scientist who discovered that when they started discovering that stars were dimming, a scientist, her last name was Petrova, was running scans through different wavelengths of light and found that in infrared light you could see this line going from suns to planets in different systems. And so the closest one, there was one now from the sun to Venus that was impacting our sun, except one star in our galaxy, Tau Ceti, is not impacted. Even though it has a Petrova line, the star itself is not infected, as they said.
Yeah, it's just, so we get that, and it's just how did he come to the conclusion? He doesn't, they never explain how we came to that conclusion. Is that I'm guessing that it's definitely got to be in the book, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's because they sent a probe to Venus and they gathered samples.
How did he come into the conclusion? Because he just kind of makes up, I'm going to kind of, thing. 2 seconds, my YouTube has just crashed in the background.
His book was his article was on posing the theory that life did not need water to survive. And then when the other scientists just completely attacked him, it kind of hurt his feelings. And so he shied away from that.
And I'm sure got him ostracized in the scientific community.
Yeah.
It's a wild take. So fair enough.
So he doesn't trust what the others are saying. He still has his own ideas and his own kind of passion for doing science. So he's a teacher, but he's not doing science. So I think this interested him to be able to do the science. So when he got the astrophage, he realized that he tried everything to kill it and couldn't, except when he finally stabbed it with a microneedle, then it died, right? So he's like, okay, you can kill it. Well, then when he accidentally let them escape in that little room where he did a fake Venus, right? And then 3 of them escaped, but then there were 4. Then he figured out, well, he had the mock environment of Venus, which was heavy in carbon dioxide. And so then his theory was, okay, they multiply by carbon dioxide. So they go to the sun to get their energy. They suck the energy out of the star, but they need carbon dioxide to reproduce. So they migrate. So that Petrova line, it's like salmon migrating upstream. It's their migration path from sun to planet to sun to planet until the sun is gone.
See, you've explained it better than the movie within literally less than a minute.
Honestly, I feel like I got all that in the movie.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I really did.
because the way I understood it,
I don't get the why. I got the reason, but the why I didn't get.
So as I guess I'll try to give my perspective of what I was watching, how I put it together was, so obviously he gives the demonstration in his class and tells them about the the infrared light and how the things are traveling. And they're I like actually the way they use the students to kind of ask It's a bit of an exposition dump, but in a way that makes sense. He's a teacher. The students are curious of this, possible world-ending event they keep hearing about. So it's kind of a nice little way to, kind of essentially the old kind of explain it to me like I'm 5 thing, where, they kind of break down the science of exactly what's happening with this potential threat to the audience. So in there, when he explains it, that all makes sense. And you kind of get the idea of, okay, that's the big threat that they're trying to fix with Project Hail Mary. And then from there, he's chosen because his paper or thesis, whatever he, published prior, was about the idea that maybe not all life forms need water. They're at this point still trying to figure out, so what the hell are these life forms? And if they're on the face of the sun, she makes the line of, it doesn't sound like there's much water up there. So like, how could these things possibly survive on water? So they are kind of picking him, assuming maybe he has the key to figuring out what these things are. Obviously, he then ends up finding out they are made of water. So that kind of goes sideways in terms of his original theory. But he gets to stay on board, one, because he has a good scientific mind to keep on. But then when he gets to that experiment, that made sense to me in the way Sandy just described it as well, which was that it was kind of by chance. They were just trying to recreate a Venus atmosphere to see how these things respond and why they keep going there. And then it was the simple idea of, well, we knew he had 3 because she makes that comment to him as well about you have how many samples do I have? And she said 3, and the one you already killed. So then when there's a 4th, it kind of just, somehow these things are reproducing. And then that's, the pure science side of it, I'm not aware of, but I got the basic understanding of, it was essentially kind of as Bob Ross would say, a happy little accident that,
a happy little accident. Very good.
He was able to, get them to procreate in there.
Yeah. Well, from that, like, he gets kind of, no, he doesn't get top secret clearance yet, does he? Go like, why any jet pilot would do a forward roll on him to get him to the
probably just to mess with somebody.
Like,
somebody who does, they don't want to be in there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like to get him onto the carrier.
What I couldn't understand was why he picked a traffic cone to throw up in, because those have a hole on the top side of it, so it would just pour straight out all over.
Why would he have a traffic cone? Yeah.
Because I noticed that.
On the carrier,
you'd be better off just puke it onto the ground, because you wouldn't have the false sense of security that it's not spilling on you.
And they've seen it all before on an aircraft carrier, I'm sure. They've seen it all.
But this is where I must say I didn't like this next scene, because everybody's just seemed dumb. He seems dumb. Everybody else seems dumb, because they've got the greatest scientific minds in a room that all have top secret clearance for the Project Hail Mary, and then they go, "Oh, he bred them. That's amazing." And everybody's question to him is a bit dumb. Literally, how, and then they kind of go, "What are you talking about?" And they go, "Hey, stand up. Here's you've been vetted. You've got an our secret clearance." And this is where we get the reveal of. Then it gets more simple. But everybody else around that table, I just didn't. They just didn't seem like science people, even though they're supposed to. Like they needed to challenge him a little bit more. But on from that, and then you get, of course, the map of our not our solar system, every solar system,
the galaxy, our galaxy,
the galaxy. And then they've realized every star has been affected bar one, and I can't remember the star's name.
Calceti,
yeah. And why? And
he goes, but why?
Know. We don't know, and that's it. So from that, they realize somebody's done the science is because of the energy stored in these. They can make the astrophene as a propulsion device in the space shuttle, whatever, to kind of patrol. And he's like, but you'll need 200,000 or whatever it is. He's like, yep, we kind of worked out already. We're ready to go. So they've been already building this craft. They just need, to go there to figure out what it is. And then, it's kind of like, we just need, it's a way to figure out what it is, and then the probes will come back, and then hopefully from what the probes come back with, we'll be able to figure out how to save Earth. That is it.
That's it.
Nutshell. That is it. It's it's just a moment. And this bit, it was kind of, it's a bit of a, and that's what I'm saying. This is where you do get it, like when he says it. It's a long shot. It's a Hail Mary, what you guys call, because it's hopefully they get there and can figure the shit out or something, because otherwise we're all dead anyway. And
It's
this
your
is
best
the
shot,
only,
but it's the only shot you have.
only shot
right?
we got. It's not very good. It's it's just maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong, maybe we're looking at the wrong place, but this is all we've got, so we're going. That's it. So and I would, at this point, I would have liked someone to gone, but we have a redundancy plan, like just in case this is the word.
Well, then it wouldn't be a Hail Mary, you got to make sure it's the last shot.
Exactly. It's one of those. So it's a scientific.
The sun dying, there is no backup plan.
Right, and it definitely helps kind of increase the stakes of like
the
mission that they're on, and add a little bit more reason as to why people are so willing to take on this mission that's obviously going to lead to their own personal end, because there's no way back. So it helps justify that, I think, as well. Yeah,
and then of course we go back into space, where he does a kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a funeral in space. I'm guessing just a funeral in space, where he kind of gets all their pictures, all their
send off,
their little send off
type of thing.
You might have remembered it was a throwaway conversation in the film. In the book, it was more of a procedural conversation about, since this is a suicide mission, how do you want to die? There will only be enough food for a certain period of time, and then you get to decide when and how you want to, end it. But that Commander Yao would be the last one, and that he also would make sure that whatever method the others chose, if for some reason it didn't work, it was his duty to carry it out with a small arm, shall we say. So Ileana wanted a dose of a highly lethal illegal drug and lots of vodka. That's why there was vodka on the ship. The commander wanted a weapon, and the other science officer had a different plan, nitrous oxide overdose, I think, which is why there's so much nitrogen on the ship, which is used. They don't really talk about it, but when they make those breeder pods for the Talmebas, they're using the nitrogen to make them nitrogen resistant, because on both Earth and arid, we have high nitrogen in our, most of what we breathe every day is nitrogen, not oxygen. So anyway, so you needed that nitrogen. There was so much of it on the ship because of how the other science officer wanted to end it. So the three means of self-disposal actually are really important to what Grace does later in the book. Not so much in the film, except him getting drunk on Ileana's vodka. So that's what you see him breaking it out. But and in the film, he's saying, I think I know you. I think we were friends. But he doesn't remember because he hasn't gotten those memories back yet.
So from that, we get what? The ship goes into distress, doesn't it? It cuts off its engines because then the gravity kicks out. So we get him, and then of course he's the only person there, so he needs a pilot. Now, guys, if I put you in a plane, would you know how to fly it?
Hell no.
No,
I just start pushing buttons and hoping for the best.
Yeah, this I found his hold, and later the piloting skill, a little bit unbelievable that he would even get anywhere near, because as we find out, sorry, I'm gonna do it. Spoiler alert. He doesn't want to be there. So he wouldn't have taken any interest in the control system of a space shuttle or whatever, a spacecraft or whatever. So he wouldn't have a clue of any of those buttons and like that. So that's why I was thinking, was the computer, what I said earlier, was it more like a guide? But it didn't seem like to guide him. Press this button, it will do that. It just seemed a bit, yeah.
Right.
In the book, everything was just, all of that was automatic in the book. But again, it wasn't programmed to tell him his memories or any information. It was programmed to do the job. So yeah, in the book, he didn't have to do a thing. The computer slowed down the propulsion, started the centrifuge to bring, gravity on or off. Yeah, the computer did everything.
Yeah. So when he's struggling to do it, of course, I don't even know where he's near, but anyway, there's a shadow. There's a shadow of a craft coming near, and yeah, so he's there's alien life out there. He's not alone. Let's say that. So a big, I don't even know how you explain the craft look. It's more like a
big scaffolding kind of thing. It's a lot of bars and rods and things.
So, but it is also probably about 10 times the size of his little craft, isn't it? So like that. But it comes like a side of him, and I do like the first one. They kind of from the alien craft, how we've got to make contact. Of course, why are you here? Like that, and they give like a little pod, and he's like that, and they think we're dumb. That's so stupid, isn't it? Like, because we don't know, like the capture it.
Yeah, because he didn't catch the first one, so they throw the second one extra slow to make sure you catch it.
We're dumb.
Well, and he's trying to open it. He's doing righty tighty, lefty loosey, and then finally he's like, "Wait a minute, we tried it the other way." Boop, then it just popped.
Yeah, but yeah, again, it's like one of those like him getting into position. It's just a little bit like okay, he's using it, but the control stick is a little bit wary. But yeah, it's a little bit of a laugh. Just them. It's a bit lighthearted of, oh, there's aliens. We're both trying to communicate to each other, but I'm really crap in space. I'm not an astronaut. I'm the worst person ever. Yeah, it's good. It's a little bit of fun, and then of course, he finally has to, go for his little spacewalk. I do like it because he's petrified and he's absolutely terrible in space. It's not a little, it's not bad. A little kind of in between them both. He's like even when he puts his helmet on and his glasses goes off the side, isn't it? It's like that. So it's a little bit of fun, but again, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, but up to this point, a little bit more depression because he's getting his memories back, so he knows he's like by this point, would he know that he didn't want to be here?
No,
at this point, no,
he doesn't know it until the end.
Okay,
because that's kind of the big reveal, and in the book, it's the same way. You're not suited for this. You weren't trained for this. Yep, he's got all that. Yeah. He really cares about his kids at school, but the big reveal at the end is you were a coward. But you've made up for it, essentially. But, he doesn't know yet that he didn't want to be here.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just taking his kind of mental state as, one, a little bit of the loneliness of isolation, two, the waking up from an induced coma, not having any memories, but also being stuck. Talk about one of the worst ways you could possibly wake up from a coma is you're stranded in space on a spaceship with two floating, I guess they weren't floating, but two other, deceased people. Like, that's enough to put me in a pretty bad mental state. So that's more so where I felt like that, that montage of him kind of being depressed comes from, more so than, even just the lack of memories or anything, just kind of the whole scenario being like, more so, I guess, the lack of the memory of not having wanted to go there in the first place. That it's just the circumstances you're in is just like, I couldn't imagine going to sleep one day and then waking up on a spaceship in the middle of nowhere, finding out, 11 light years from Earth or whatever it was. Like, I I thought they kind of did that part well, and I was okay with the kind of quick snap out of it, because the idea of, I mean, you're a scientist of all people who, they crave knowledge, and, I'd imagine every scientist would love to be somebody who discovers something new scientifically, given that, that's not incredibly easy in today's day and age. So to see a spaceship and all that and think there's an intelligent life, I think that to me is enough justification to kind of snap them out of that depression and immediately back into scientist mode of, well, I have to make contact. I have to see what's going on here.
Yeah. Except for he does a really stupid thing, is opens up the canister, and what's the first thing he does?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh! He runs into like the contamination.
It's ammonia. So a lot of the book goes into like the atmosphere of Arid, where Rocky is from, versus the atmosphere of Earth. And Arid's air is ammonia. And it's 29 times the mass, the atmospheric pressure of Earth. So hence, Rocky is made of rock, essentially. They do say it, but I don't think they really go into it. He can't see because light doesn't get down to the surface of Arid. They don't need eyes, because no wavelength of light at all can get through the atmosphere of Arid. Not even infrared, no wavelength whatsoever. So they use echolocation like a bat. And that's why when Grace showed him the clock, eventually he realized he needed to raise up the letters for him to be able to see, and they didn't make this a point because he was playing around with the goofy ruler. But the reason why the ruler didn't make any sense to him was that he couldn't see the numbers because it was flat.
Which that made sense to me after I realized the clock thing. So it's kind of one of those ways where like they do something and then it kind of works backwards to fill you in as the audience. Like, oh, okay, well then that's why the tape measure just seemed like a toy.
Well, and also in the book, the tape measure melts immediately when Rocky touches it because
because it goes into his atmosphere.
His atmosphere and the pressure, and that's why he's hot. Like, and they do figure out their whole communication starts because Grace shows him the clock, and Rocky does see the hands going around. He doesn't see the numbers, but he understands that when one hand goes to the top, the other one moves a little bit. So that's when Rocky brings his clock. Same thing. When one turns completely around, the next one turns. Then they start to point to numbers, and then that's the break. I think that's an absolute genius idea in the book. How do you begin communication when one of you can't see? You can kind of start communication if you can write things down in some way, but when one party can't see, what do? It makes it even harder. And I think the idea of starting with a clock was such a unit of time, a unit of measure, a part of science, right? The clock was one. And then, you've got these principles of physics that exist throughout the universe, the structure of an atom. So the two bracelets together that are oxygen, and then they start communicating using that, because he's done that with his kids in his science class, made little atoms, made little molecules out of those. So they start communicating that way. And that's how they start to build their language. So back to Earth, Grace and company. I kind of went a little far because we weren't there yet. We still have the crews. He's there instructing them in science. He's actually teaching the two science officers the science because he's doing the hands-on experimentation.
Quick question though, just out of things in the book, because I'm gonna have to ask this because I know now we don't have much mapping of our galaxy. So how did in 9 years they don't really say how we mapped it, because when he opens up his canister, he has a little bulb and looks like a little pipe, I suppose the only way you can put it, and the other one is he's like a solar system, and he's mapped out where Aaron.
Yeah, but we know the major.
Yeah.
We know the major stars in our galaxy. We do know. Yeah. I know Tau Ceti. I know Sirius. I know. So I think we know the major stars. I think most scientists would know that. James Webb, the replacement of the Hubble, has done a tremendous amount to map it. And now they're building the Carl Sagan, by the way. They're building the replacement for the Hubble in real life. That Carl Sagan space telescope is going to be wild into how many hundreds of light years it can see away. It's going to see into the past, which is just like into the distant past before humans, which is wild.
Back into the future.
Right. Because what we see, right, the light that we see from some of these galaxies
back into the future.
started hundreds of thousands of years ago. So we're seeing their light, but they don't even exist anymore. The light's just getting here. Anyway, let's not go. But yeah, so we know this part of the galaxy. Tau Ceti is relatively close, even though it's 11 light years away. That's really close.
Yeah. There you go. Tau Ceti. There you go. That's it. How close? It's 13 years away.
Yeah. Not far at all.
No. But yeah, so we kind of get more, and this is where in the movie we do get out Rocky. Anybody? Spoilers! It's an alien that is, 4 foot, 5 foot off the ground, I suppose, like that.
Yeah, has like 5 arms, no head.
No, and it's and it's their first interaction is, Rocky sends out like a what do you call it? A carousel? I don't know. What do you call it? Like a walkway, doesn't he? Into
he built
Grace's,
like a skywalk type thing.
Yeah, And this is where things. But he's so clever that he knows the atmosphere. It's not glass though, is it? It's like a very weird.
It's xenonite. So this is where. This is where Grace starts to realize that even though we have, we say that the laws of physics, are the same throughout the universe, but the laws of chemistry are not. And we know xenon as an inert gas. You can't do anything with xenon, but you can. And xenon on a planet with 29 times the atmospheres of Earth, xenon's a solid, not a gas. But it's this amazing magical solid that can take many forms. It can be completely solid. It can be see-through. It can be different colors. So what Rocky puts up on that initial wall that Grace walks over to, and remember, he's only got that one little part that he can see through. What that really is every different chemical variation of xenonite in front of Grace. And Rocky was testing him to see which one Grace could see through. And if you'll notice, after they had the first conversation, when Rocky said, go away, told him, took the little model of Grace and said, go back to your ship. And he did. When he came back, Rocky then took that, the formula for that one little piece of xenonite that he knew Grace could see through. And then he made everything out of that so that he knew that Grace could see him. Rocky didn't need to. Rocky can see through everything, essentially, through the echolocation, not through eyes. But he can see through the ship. He could see everywhere that sound waves could travel to.
Yeah, wasn't explained.
But in the film,
the only thing I thought was cool is when he literally he told him about the oxygen, and he's like, "You don't need your helmet anymore." And he's like, "No, I need this to live.
Kind of important." Yes, I do.
And then he gets back, and he's like, "Oh, damn it, why not?" And that moment was kind of cool because you're like, is he going to trust him? It's like that. But yeah, apart from, I think their first is dunk, 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 dunk. And he's like that. And then he gets a bit more, back and forth, bit of confidence, doesn't he? And I like it because the Grace gets a bit dumb. Is like, he doesn't realize that Rocky is the models he's kind of making for him is no, I'm not just communicating, I'm telling you things. I'm telling you, you know what we're doing. Whereas he goes, oh, you got me a present, and he brings it like this is a present as well. And he's like, oh, that's not what I'm trying to. That's not what I'm getting at. But again, it would be, you know, if you had a different language barrier, you see it like, you know, how do you communicate? Well, this is my gift. This is your gift. You know, have a bit of friendship. But like, you can see the intelligence of it's quite good. To Rocky is up there. He's really, really clever. So like, he understands what the limitations are, and he's limited. Like, but he can make the great models. But like, because of like I'm guessing because of like they do it like a wire system, don't they? Like, and that's what his ship is made of.
Think of a 3D printer. Yeah. They do 3D printing. Now, Rocky is the engineer on the ship. He's the fixer. He's basically the repair guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why he was near because there's
he was near the
sorry.
astrophage.
Spoilers. So know that Grace's crew, he's pilot and engineer are dead. Where Rocky, he is the engineer, and he was near. Was it the
fuel cells system, with astrophage? And
yeah, what kept him safe against the rest of the crew that was in a different area that got
regular old solar radiation. Which, you know, goes into that. Although looking at how they manipulate chemicals and atoms and molecules, Rocky's civilization seems very advanced.
Very, 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 very late.
Hey, Daryl.
They seem very advanced.
Sorry, Sandy, just in case. Daryl, spoilers if you've not seen it yet. There you go.
Yeah. Wait a second. Sorry. Okay. So just based on what we see, we think they're very advanced. They're not.
Yeah.
They have not traveled outside of their own planet's atmosphere. Which again, because it's so massively thick, they don't experience any radiation. They don't even know it exists. They also don't understand relativity. And so that'll make a play a little longer when Rocky doesn't understand why Grace can't get home, because he doesn't understand about aging in space. He doesn't understand about, you know, the Earthlings, time, etc. But it was regular old galactic radiation that anyone would experience going into space if they didn't have shields. And the ship did not have shields, except for Rocky was shielded by the astrophage, which eats radiation. Now, here's the interesting thing. They were traveling for many more years than the Earth ship was, than the Hail Mary was. The Rocky's ship was traveling for, I think, 80 years. So one might say, well, wait a minute, Rocky's exposed to radiation now. He is, but it's only a few months versus the 80 years that his shipmates had experienced. And he spent more than 50% of his day surrounded by astrophage. So he was the only one, you know, Scotty down in the engine room being protected. So that's why he survived. And later when Grace figures it out and explains it to Rocky, it's very sad. You know, when Rocky's people, I don't think we call Iridians, when the Iridians want to like make an exclamation point like we would, they say something 3 times. So good, bad, bad, bad. I think they only did that 1 time in the film. But in the book, it was good, bad, bad, bad.
Rocky does a bit of that. Yeah, Rocky does do a bit of that. Where, I thought that was just kind of a comedic kind of thing to play on the learning of the nuances of the language. I didn't realize that was like actually natural to his species.
Yeah, because when they put like an exclamation mark, he goes, question.
Yeah. He's always defining, is it a question? Is it a statement? So I thought that was just part of like a little bit of the fun with the, the language barrier and learning a new, way to speak to each other. I didn't realize that was part of his species.
Yeah.
It sounded to me like he was just going, like I need to confirm to you because I'm cleverer than you kind of moment. It was just like, no, I'm getting my point across. I need to say it 3 times. Yeah.
But obviously, the cool thing is they're clever in different ways. You know, Grace knows more of what we would call real sound physics, but Rocky understands how to manipulate atoms and molecules and, you know, create anything from, you know, basically his magical glove. It's kind of a metallic glove that is a printer, a 3D printer that he can just use his hands to make, which is just wild.
Yeah.
And they do explain that a little bit, or at least they allude to it a bit when Ryan Gosling's character is, you know, doing one of his video diaries, and he mentions how, you know, they're great. Well, I think you actually just mentioned it as well, Sandy, where he says, you know, they don't know much about radiation or they don't know much about this, but he knows a lot about other things. So they kind of, you know, explain that it is, you know, 2 incredibly smart individuals, 2 different species, 2 different sets of science, but they overlap where science kind of meets, which is another way in which they kind of, you know, find bond and all that, which I think is well done in that.
Yeah. Now, from that, they kind of get what we kind of get is the laptop that he gets to translate for them. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit too easy. The only bit I must say, one of the bits I didn't like in the movie is that Grace hooks up a microphone to kind of teach him words through a laptop, and they learn it very, very quick in the time of the movie.
It's very shortened in the movie. Yeah.
It's like there would be some struggles. There would be, you know, pronunciations of different languages.
I just kept thinking of the movie Arrival, which is like takes the whole movie to get them to really communicate.
Yeah. And then this is like, oh, a laptop with a little bit of AI kind of does it. And he has like, oh, I put the, and all he does is like strap something to it, this laptop, and then microphone, and then goes, oh, brave. How would he know what brave is?
Yeah, that's where I was having a little bit of a disconnect with understanding how they're learning to speak to one another. Because okay, you could sell me on the concept at least of I'm just going to use what I have, which is laptop, microphone. I say word, you give me your version of word, I'll put it in my system. Okay, get that. I just couldn't understand how Rocky, right? Like one of you would have to know the other's language, and in this case, it would have to be Rocky who understands English to know that, you know, this word means that's the English word. I just even now I'm struggling to understand how they tried to make that make sense.
The greatest thing in the world, in Earth, is the word kangaroo. It is the most greatest word. You know what kangaroo is, don't you? Everybody knows what kangaroo is. When they went over and they went, what is that? They said kangaroo. In their language, kangaroo is the words, I don't understand what you're saying. So they pointed and said, what is that? I don't understand what you're saying, was kangaroo. So a kangaroo means I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, I getcha.
I didn't know that.
How good is that? But it's a kangaroo. Everybody knows what kangaroo is. A kangaroo isn't a kangaroo.
But so let me I'll kind of walk it through. So again, when you start with just numbers on a clock, right? It started with, here's a thing. We both are smart enough to figure out that they're clocks, and we both are smart enough to figure out that there are numbers associated with that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they get their basic, but he realizes early by dividing.
Here we go. Forgotten that. Sorry, my dyslexia is going to be bad. I can't do that. So for Johnny 5.
Says, well, I don't think they said exactly how much time it took in the movie. I assume that it took a long time for them. Like in the book, it was very well explained how it was done.
Yeah.
It was. So you go, Sandy, you know.
They used
basic. Is it
Corduroy Johnny. Sorry,
Johnny.
I need to get a little closer to the screen myself. My eyes aren't working great today.
Hello, Corduroy Johnny.
My dyslexia. Damn you again with your usernames.
A long name though. But yeah, in the book, they're also using principles of physics and science to help with the communication because they both speak physics. They both speak atoms.
But I say, it would be a mathematical language first before a language.
And that's what they did.
See,
and
then
there were gestures up, down, side, you, me.
Well, And I guess we could also. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
I know you have the actual information from the book, but it just popped in my mind. Maybe the puppets. Maybe he's making more of the little puppets. Rocky.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
to
That
say
puppet show.
This is, to something like that. I would think.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. That's when they call let me have a puppet show, and they both figured out puppet show. They held up, and Grace said, "Oh, this is puppet show." He said, "Puppet show." So, Rocky, because their senses are purely sound. They don't have sight. I don't think they have smell. So all they communicated in is sound. So Rocky can very quickly, if Grace said you, me, whatever, he can mimic that. He can do it right away. Our brains probably couldn't pick it up for a very long time. So the combination of gestures and science and math helps them start to figure language. But you're right, Corduroy Johnny 5. It took a long time, and it didn't just take a day or two. It took weeks and weeks.
I felt that was very weak of the. I'm guessing for the editors. I'm guessing, you know what? And I will go. I'm going to say that there's got to be an unedited version, because there was a lot that like as Jay said, this needed like 20 minutes of the movie of just going. We're going to figure out.
Or even if you wanted to give me a montage, like if you wanted to give me a montage of the different, show me a little bit of the puppets, show me a little bit of working on this, that, and that, just a quick one, just to get me to understand. Because again, even as he continues to talk to Rocky going forward, my understanding, the best understanding I could get is that Rocky understands English, because there's not a device that's translating his speech back into Rocky's language. It's pretty much he speaks in English,
correct,
Rocky understands it, and it comes out as. Sorry, say that, Sandy. I'm curious.
I was going to say he does, because it's sound, and he's so when you only have one or two senses that you have, you're going to be attuned to it. So yeah, he doesn't need it translated back into Rocky's language. Rocky can immediately mimic what we say as humans, but we can't mimic what he says. Like Grace can't speak the harmonics that Rocky is speaking, because our voices won't let us do it, but Rocky can. So that's how that works. Although,
so is Rocky then taking the speech from Grace? So I see. I'm still just confused.
And just saying it. Okay, so if I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to someone from Scandinavia, if I just said 1, 2, 3, they can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 back to me, because they have the same vocal cords I do. Rocky is able to do that. We're not able to do in arid voice because of the complexities of how they speak.
Well, but that's what's confusing me, is because he has to. I get the idea that he could repeat it and make the same sound.
Yes.
But how is he understanding what the word means?
That's what I'm saying. They're going through that process. He's not just saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's showing the clock, and they're agreeing that the first.
Yeah, but what is one? But what is one? I'm being very pedantic here. I know that.
Okay, the first tick on both of their clocks is going to be a 1, regardless of what we say. 8 atoms are in oxygen, right? Regardless of whether it's in arid or on Earth, these things on this bracelet is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can both agree on that. They don't need to know each other's language for someone to point and say, you've got 1 and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I think it's kind of easy at that point.
That much I do get. Like, I get the basics of starting those fundamentals on counting and numbers and things like that. Like you said, the oxygen atoms, the things that are shared by science, that's factual in that regard. That I get. It's just, to me, I'm still not quite understanding how. Again, I understand that Rocky, when he's learning something, like, so I guess, is it the idea that Rocky, once Ryan Gosling's character teaches him, okay, the word for food, you say the word for food and I'll translate it to my language and I'll put it in the computer. So is Rocky then just hearing the computer say it and then automatically remembering that's how it sounds in English? So then when he hears Ryan's character say something like food later on, he's remembering that, oh, that meant the word I say. Like, he
doesn't need the computer. So let's say Grace is eating, right? And he points to it, and Rocky sees him point to it, right? Sees through his echolocation, sees him point to, and maybe it's eat, right? He's doing the thing and he's pointing to eating. And Grace says, eat. Rocky has now remembered eat because he could hear that word.
Okay, so
Eat.
that's what so he basically has, right. Well, I know that he doesn't need the computer, but that's what I was getting at. So like, they don't really explain that Rocky's got a great memory as well for when he hears the word, he automatically remembers that it means that. Because you could make the same case as why doesn't Ryan Gosling's character remember all these sounds that Rocky makes?
Yes,
because he's
the flip of it.
Human and he needs.
Well, right, and that's I think what I was missing, that idea that Rocky has a better sense of memory and recollection when it comes to I've heard that, I know it means this in my language. That's I guess that's what I was missing.
Maybe we're wrong because here we go. I'm a teacher, and how Grace teaches Rocky English.
No, I get and right, but that's the thing is I get the idea of how
I'm English and I've got dyslexia and I'm terrible, and Jay's from Boston, so we're fucked.
But
yeah, fair enough.
I just one more way. So Jay, what you just described, right? I say eat, and then Rocky says it in his language, and Grace captures it in the computer. The computer, right, allows Grace, the next time Rocky says that word, right, the computer is going to log that for Grace. He doesn't need it for him to communicate with Rocky.
Because Rocky's mind essentially does
Rocky's
what the computer does.
Because again, he's attuned to. But imagine if you were talking to like a fish. Or it would have to, the comparison we would have to make is to some being that couldn't make our sounds. And I think that's where we're getting caught up. Like Rocky can imitate humans because of the complexities of how they make sound. We can't imitate their language. Grace can't say it back to him because we can't make those noises with our throat, if that makes sense.
See, this
so Grace has to use
this
again, all that,
like Johnny Five just said, that would have made perfect sense. He had what they call it, like a Sheldon mind, kind of like what's it like? What do they call it? When you can hear one thing once,
I can't think of the term, but I do like the way Johnny puts it there, because that's what I feel like. Essentially, the disconnect I'm having is that Rocky's got essentially a better memory than Ryan's character has. Yes. Even if Ryan can't say the words back, he eventually learns the meaning of, because you see it at the end. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but at the end, we see him conversing without the computer anymore. So I guess that's what was my disconnect, is that apparently Rocky's got a much better or quicker sense of, or quicker ability to memorize these things to the point where he doesn't need the computer, whereas Ryan relies on the computer for the memory of what those sounds mean, regardless of the fact that he can't speak it back and will never be able to. It was that idea of understanding what the words mean, because again, I could teach, my son a word and he doesn't quite know, like he might be able to mimic the words first before he can understand exactly what they mean. So it's not so much about the ability to mimic the words, even if you are the same species that can. To me, what I wasn't understanding was why Rocky is so much quicker at understanding these English words mean this in my language, even like regardless of the ability to replicate them, because he can make all the different sounds. That's what was missing. And it sounds like it's just the fact that Rocky's got a much quicker, and his species has a much faster sense of memorizing these words. And it probably has to do with their, advanced echo, abilities and things like that. But that to me, I think is what I was missing, was not understanding right away that Rocky has this better sense of our ability to memorize these things, which Ryan's character eventually gets to, but like it's more of the human side of learning a new language where it's tough. And he still can't repeat it back because he can't make those vocal sounds, but he can at least understand, like they can speak without that use of computer anymore. That's what I kind of wasn't understanding, why Rocky was able to do it so much quicker than Ryan's character was.
Great conversation. The book would help. The
book
really would help.
I do like, this is where I like from the movie, is we're talking about, and it would have been frustrating. And then when Grace gets, I need to go to sleep. And that it sets the movie up between their relationship. They're like, I'm a bit exhausted of like trying to learn your language, and he just falls asleep. And he's like, but it's when Rocky goes, "What are you doing?" And because he thinks he's dead. Like the first time, you dead like that. No, this is what we do. And he, like, I'm guessing for Rocky, they don't sleep.
Well, when they do,
they go into like hibernation mode.
Right. Once they're asleep, you cannot wake them up. and they sleep for random periods of time at different periods of time. So because of they have evolved to have to watch each other sleep, because predators would come get you because you don't wake up when you're asleep, and you can't, you don't hear, it's very, it's dangerous. So their society is, when someone falls asleep, you watch them sleep to protect them. And that's what he was doing. I watch you sleep. And it's, later you find out why they had to watch each other sleep, because when Rocky would go to sleep, he was very afraid, because he woke up on that ship and all of his colleagues were dead, and so he doesn't want, he wants Grace to watch him sleep to make sure he's okay.
That is a great way, I'm guessing it's better in the book, but I'm going to say it's a great way to instantly have an emotional connection with Rocky, because he's not doing it, I need to see you sleep, even though when Grace said, he goes, that's not what we do, it's a bit weird, like a normal person. But then he explains, the situation. You're like, oh, he's just actually, he's protecting you. Like, it's a great little stuff, and it gets you instantly warming to, because you've had this little bit of back and forth, this little instantly warming to a rock, and it's great because it is when he first comes on, when you first see Rocky, you're like, what a stupid alien. Like, why did they pick a little? And he does. It's not your normal. I'm trying to.
It's not the most interesting character, alien design type of. It's very like a Rocky,
and it's not what you get from Star Trek, Star Wars, even it's not the Galaxy Quest is the last time I saw a rock one, but it's kind of like, you don't normally get those. They're like, you think about all the ones we think they are very humanoid look, or they're really
colorful,
out of this world.
Blue and green, and all these.
I've got this 4 foot rock like kind of creature who's, we can't see his eyes because he hasn't got any. We don't have a mouth. He's just all he does is the fun moment. What we've kind of, I don't know if that's yet. I think that's a thing like we skipped over is thumbs up. Thumb down. That's it,
I can't remember. It's somewhere, I believe, in this language learning process.
Yeah.
And I will say, for the record, my kind of issue I was just working through with the computer and the whole thing. It didn't really hurt. I didn't have an issue with it watching the movie. It was just something that stuck out where I was like, oh, why is Rocky so much better at understanding the language? And then I kind of just summed it up to different species. He's probably just better with languages, which sounds like that's kind of what it is essentially. So it wasn't something I was like, oh my God, this is, ruining the storytelling for me. It just it does create a fun little conversation. So that was kind of a random thing that popped up.
I must say, I agree completely. The thing I missed on it would have been great to see the frustration of Grace trying to learn it. And Rocky, I'm getting this. It's easy for me. What are you talking about? Yep. It would have been a funny kind of between them two, of like having that kind of more emotional connection of like Rocky going, I'm trying to teach you, but you're just using the laptop. It would have been great. But that's just me being a bit greedy. Again, it didn't take me out. I just thought it was just a bit too quick.
It was, and it was something in the line of like, I still can't even make my mind up on it. Like, because it sounds like I got to the right spot with it anyways, with understanding what it was, even if it didn't tell me, which is always what we kind of talk about, where we don't need our hands held when it comes to movies as audiences. So I'm kind of between. I'm like, well, would it have been better to have just, like, in his kind of explanation in one of his video diaries where he's talking about the differences, where he's introducing Rocky to, the video diaries, I guess, that'll eventually go to Earth. But when he says the things about like, oh, he can hear everything, and maybe it would have been, not bad to just say like, he's got a great sense for language. He's learning this all so quickly versus me who's struggling. Or is it best to just leave it as it was and just let the audience get to that point? Because, I mean, we got there one way or another. So I don't even know if I'd call it a complaint or not. I'd almost rather just lean back on the idea of kind of what you said, where I would have liked to maybe just see a little bit more of the language learning process, to more so for the sake of making it slightly more believable overall, that it didn't just happen so quickly. It sounds like the book does that, and maybe the movie could have just, or at least expressed a better passage of time or a longer passage of time in that process, even if it was by a quick montage of a little bit of using a whiteboard and doing charades and drawing pictures and puppet show, whatever it took to do it. It would have been nice to see maybe just a quick little montage of it.
But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and it probably doesn't convey. There is so much time that years pass with Rocky and.
Oh, really? Oh no! See, I assumed
this
was like months at most.
No, it's years.
No,
interesting.
Yeah, that does not come across in the movie at all. I would said, you're looking at 4 or 5 weeks.
I thought maybe like 4 months max. Like I thought this was maybe just a few months long process.
Because I thought, no, he's caught him at like a cross guard to the star.
Interesting.
For years, I wouldn't have thought that at all. But like in the and then so we get the sleeping bit. Then we get a nice bit of I want to see your ship, and then because then Rocky builds a kind of like a gerbil wheel.
I was just gonna say like those little critter homes.
Like
little gerbil ball there.
Yeah, like woo, like that. And he's like, because he's like, and I like it because he's been a bit of again. It would have been the passage of time would have been great to see, and the depression with Grace, of being so lonely because the ship is now just a dumping ground. He's not cleaned up. He's just like and he's like. You live in a mess. You live in a mess. Oh my God, this
must be the trash room. No, this is the lab.
And it's just great. And then he gets, this is where I'm going to sleep. And he's like, okay. And it's a good little thing. They're like, he doesn't know what to do. It's very sweet. And then of course, then we jump back into time. And I think Sandy roughly said about the crew getting more familiarized. I'm guessing this is at the end of the mission to the blast off is when they're having their karaoke session and everybody's kind of paired off. There's a couple of them that are getting, they've all seemed to have like their friendship groups and all that, except for what's her name, the East German
Strat.
Strat, and of course Grace they're on their own. They're the loners, and then until we have a kind of the sing alone moment, she goes off, and then she
that doesn't happen in the book.
What, the song?
That doesn't happen in the book.
I guessing it was because that's the theme tune of the movie.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
Sign of the Times.
Yeah, Sign of the Times. It's nice in the movie to like break up the movie. Is it needed? Not really. It's nice to like hear somebody who can sing, and then she's like, and I'm done. That's it. So yeah, it goes off. But the important bit is, what you get after the song is then they go out onto the deck is kind of his respect for her and like the mutual respect. So he's kind of, because he doesn't know what's gonna happen. He's kind of letting down his guard because she respects him as a scientist, and he's never really had that in the past. But yeah, it is what it is, and it's a bit of thing. But then, of course, when we jump back into space, then they go into the what's it called? The beam, the line. Sandra.
I don't know. I just call it
the Petrova line.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the connection between the
Petrova.
Yes, the Petrova
They
line.
go actually into it, and this is where we get some really good CGI. I thought it was with all the red. They actually go into the
CGI used in this film whatsoever.
Really?
What I had to do with that? That was like a red.
Even with Rocky, Rocky was entirely practical, not just the up close.
Are you ready? Rocky is a puppet.
Okay, that's good then.
100%.
How did they do the red then?
This film is practical. Well, when they say practical, it's like it's not computer generated. So think about like how
but the lighting had to be, wouldn't it?
Right.
And the hamster ball, all that.
How was Star Wars made? How were other films made in the past without computer generated effects? That's how this film was made. And it's a really big deal that they did not use CGI in this film. You said some of Rocky is done with CG animation. Okay, so everything I saw, Corduroy Johnny, they were talking about Rocky is a puppet.
I had heard that. I think I saw something with Ryan Gosling.
Overlaid. I wonder if it's overlaid.
I'm curious
so it's
because
original and then it was overlaid, touch some things up.
Well, I had saw something with Ryan Gosling talking about how he had kind of really fought for Rocky to be practical. I don't know if it was true or not, or if it was like a joke he was telling. But I heard something about them having like fought for Rocky to be a practical effect, which makes sense in a lot of the up close stuff when he's talking to him, like, and you see the thumbs up and things like that. But I assume some of it, I just assumed some of it had to be a mix, just because some of the movements look so fluid that it would be, I would be.
Well, I'm just
I
sharing
would love
what
to know how,
they've
if
shared
not.
on the junket is that computer generated effects were not, maybe they mean not too much,
Oh,
but
so Corduroy Johnny.
that
No.
going back to the roots of Star
There we
Wars
go,
and
yeah.
old
Okay.
films, computer generated animation, it says, was not used in this film. Rocky was puppeteered by theater artist James Ortiz. Other effects in the film were generated using models and practical effects. So
very interesting. Even the planets and all that, like Adrian and all, like the
Adrian, I don't know, was it
atmosphere
a
and all that.
painting? Was it
Interesting.
models and matte painting? Yeah,
Well, I would
models and
love
matte
to see
painting.
a behind the
Yeah.
scenes on all this.
Yeah,
That is
100%.
fascinating. And what Johnny says would
documentary,
make
yeah.
sense, that if it was all puppeteers but just enhanced a little bit to make it more fluid with CGI. Okay, like that, I'm like, okay, I could buy that. Very interested in the behind the scenes on this. That would be to take on something like this without CGI is incredibly ambitious.
And I would love to see,
and it looked great.
And yeah, because it did. And I would love to know if they can do it and it pulls it off like this. What was the cost? And does that show up other
we'll talk about the cost.
I will say I was at a pretty packed theater when I went this morning, so I'm curious to see how not super, because but again, I went pretty early in the morning so I could get it watched before the stream here. But there was, quite a few people. And when you check the seats in the theater, there was quite a few, because nowadays you buy your seats online, so you get the reserved seat. When I went, there was not many seats left. So it was fair. And I checked a few times. I'm curious to see what this movie does numbers wise, because every movie that I went, every theater I checked to get the right time, all the seats were filled, a lot of them. So curious.
There you go. Like the scene where he was rolling.
That's where my mind goes to immediately, Johnny.
50-50. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, something there has, because it just, again, even if they puppeteer the rolling through and where he's going to hit, where he's going to land, where he's going to roll past, and then maybe come back and touch it up, make it look more fluid, things like that. Probably in a way, again, I wouldn't make the direct comparison, but something like maybe like what Andy Serkis used to do with Gollum, where he's in the suit and he works through and he moves through all these areas. Again, obviously they come back in and heavily CGI that, but maybe it's something similar to that. I would have to guess, because I'm blown away by that. Even if it's just limited use of CGI just for enhancements, things like that. I'm blown away that it was even limited in this movie, because I would have expected it was very CGI.
I guess the thing is, it's not computer generated.
Right, computer enhanced would be a difference, right?
So
which
it's
fair enough.
Yeah, we kind of do that portion, like with like Gollum. It's an overlay, I suppose you want to call it, a computer overlay.
Sure,
there we go. That's the best way.
Interesting.
But I would say that has intrigued me, and I think, Jay, you're right. I kind of want to watch.
Yeah, I would love to see the behind the scenes on that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It's like that'd be quite interesting.
Abe has to head out. It's too spoilery.
Sorry, Abe.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of it, Abe. Fair enough.
I know.
Yeah.
We did this right away.
Sorry, we did this a lot. I'll do it again. Anybody? There we go. We had multiple times. I will remember to do it. Sorry, Abe. Bye, Abe. Bye.
Appreciate you stopping by, though, Abe.
Yeah, you can put it on mute. We're only showing the trailers.
That is true. We're talking about everything, but it's just the trailer pictures.
Yeah, there we go.
So these scenes I could see being totally puppeteered, absolutely.
Yeah,
where he's just handing things over and things like that.
Yeah. So we've got their collection of the sample, and then we've got their, and then they're just doing kind of scientist stuff as their examination, and they're kind of like having between them two a little bit back and forth, but at this point they're not they don't know about sorry spoilers, they don't know about the go away people, they don't know about the predator at the moment, do they just know about that when it's collecting the sun, but when it gets to there, or it's not, so they think that because there's a two-way flow, they would expect the multiplier to coming back to the sun to get more energy should be double, but it's the same. So this is where they come up with the theory. There is something on the planet's atmosphere that is stopping it to duplicate. So it's just bouncing back and forth. It's not a 1, 2, 2, 4. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's bouncing back. There's not a multiplier. So they kind of come up with the theory. There's a predator, not the predator, a predator,
not the predator. No,
that would have been a movie. That would have been
hilarious.
What is going on?
It's not the predator. It's a predator.
Mother.
And it's down there in the atmosphere, though, of Adrian. And by the way, the name of Adrian, the reason the planet is called Adrian is because
Adrian.
Yeah, because Rocky, in conversation with Grace, mentioned that he missed his, they were talking about, what do you miss? And he said, I miss my mate. And Grace was stunned. He's like, oh, you have a mate? Well, I guess of course you'd have a mate. And then they start talking in the book. They talk about, naming, first contact and naming the species, but then they're talking about the planet, and it's, oh yes, this would be Tau E42 blah. And Rocky's like, that's boring. Like, it needs a name. You need names. And then Grace says, well, what do you think when you see the planet? And he says, it's beautiful. And he says, like my mate. And he's already said, well, your mate's name's gonna, your Rocky, it has to be Adrian, and hence the name of the planet is Adrian.
The name was
and they describe it in the book as a beautiful greeny bright beautiful planet, which I think they captured quite well in the film.
It looked great.
The planet in that, I was like, that's different. I loved it. I thought how they did like the shimmer and the different contrast between the red and the green, like more like purpley, like pink, whatever. But they did the awesome. Spheres. Yeah, it looked really good.
I liked it. Yep.
And I like the idea that, the idea of like, oh, well, I guess I don't want to say about the life and all that, because I don't think we've quite. Did we reach that part yet? Did we talk about how the life is the answer? Did we get to that part yet?
We're going to get there.
Part?
Yeah,
okay.
They get the end.
I was going to say, well, in general, I was going to say, like, we're right there. So I guess I'll just save my thought of what I liked about that.
Hold it. Go on in, Jay. Go.
No, I was just going to say the way they find out that, the answer to this problem with the, am I getting it right? Is it astrophage?
Astrophage.
Astrophage. Yep. Okay, astrophage. The reason, this sun or this star is the sun is surviving the kind of attack of the astrophage is this bacteria that's alive in it and kind of fighting it off. I liked the idea that when it's like there's life on the planet, that it's just about the idea of, very simple form life. It's not the, oh, we're going to go into another. It doesn't get too, like microbiology, whatever. I'm not a scientist. I'm going to get the terms wrong, but I like that they kept it to a basic minimum of that, of like just trying to find, even single-celled organisms, amoeba, whatever you can, and define that as life, versus the idea of, like this, if this was Star Wars, you'd break the atmosphere, there'd be a whole city and a planet. Again, like we talked about, the creatures that are, or even like Rocky's style of aliens that are a little bit more advanced and more fully formed, obviously. I like the idea that it was simple. It's like there's life, and it's just this tiny little micro, whatever thing that exists, and that's what we're looking for. I was a little bit worried that when they got too close to the atmosphere, we were going to get a little bit of like a Star Wars scene where like now something's trying to fire up at them with lasers because you're annoying the people or the species on the planet down there. It just felt very scientific. It makes these, movies like The Martian and this one, kind of what you said, Sandy, earlier, what you said about how it just makes them feel more plausible. It makes it feel like it's more of a possible thing, without, again, obviously we do have an alien in this with Rocky, but it didn't go too crazy into that. Like, again, plausible. The idea that there's other life out there, there's other species, there's other intelligent species, there's other intelligent species that have figured out space travel. Yes, absolutely. Like, that's all plausible. But it doesn't go too far to the idea that every planet you land on, like in Star Wars, is a planet inhabited by these, fully intelligent, mobile, tool crafting, tool using, scientific, medical, humanoid, whatever type of, alien in one form or another. I like that it keeps it simple. It explores some real sci-fi fantasy, but also keeps it a little bit more grounded in the idea of all this stuff totally plausible. Things going on with the sun. again, I mean, are we not always on the quest to see what's out there in space, if the other planets can ever be inhabited by humans, all that stuff? Like the idea of finding the answers to Earth's problems in space, again, incredibly plausible, incredibly grounded. Like I do like that it's that kind of sci-fi, not too far into the sci-fi fantasy. Even though I enjoy that, but I enjoy that when it's a movie that feels like it fits that.
Yeah.
This feels better in this kind of more grounded. I hate to say it, grounded sounds silly when you talk about a space movie with a talking rock, but it does feel more grounded in the idea of plausibility.
Yeah. So from that we get, sorry, they've worked out there must be a predator, so they're going to go to Adrian, like go to the atmosphere, and they've kind of worked out the fishing rod. We go back, skip then into what Sandy alluded on earlier is the Strat and Grace are having their little conversation outside the base for whatever reason, and then we just get this huge explosion, and this is the catalyst, I suppose, of spoilers of Grace being in the ship. This bit, why would you have all your number one crew and number two crew on the same base? You're gonna have like you would have redundancy, and this is what I'm saying. I said about a redundancy plan, but you would have more than two crews. If you had, you would like you would have like what's Apollo 13 is a great one. They have the redundancy crews that aren't working it out on there, but they're not together when they're doing it. They're like, you're that crew, we come over and do takeovers, like they're not in the same place at the same time. So you would have them
playing with
a highly
materials.
volatile substance in the same base. No, you're not going to have it. It's like having the vice president and the president on the same plane. You're not going to do it, are you? It was just like, we
don't even do that at work. We don't even have like the C-suite members all in the same place at the same time. I mean, in a Fortune 500 company, you don't do that.
We're going to have the king and the Prince of Wales on the same plane.
Yeah, that stopped.
You don't. Yeah. So, but you don't do it. So, like having the same, like not having a secondary base, and then also. This is what I do think. Okay, you're building like this shuttle or whatever, like whatever spacecraft or whatever to go up there. You're going to build two, because if the delay is like took 3 years to build, you're building two, and they should have done that. Because how many times have we seen even modern days? This is what 9 years in the future. Like it goes wrong. We're delaying this by 6 months, or something explodes or something like that.
Yeah.
We've had real bad disasters, but you don't want that. You're going to make sure it's, we're going to duplicate everything. Check. Also, you're the two crews, and then we've got secondary crews, and we've got third crews. Why? Because what happens if somebody's got the worst thing is it's a week before takeoff and somebody gets the flu. You're gone. You can't go up. You can't just oh no, you're the only person there. So this bit, it did frustrate me because my logical brain got in of you would have a backup for the backup for the backup. Literally, this is your Hail Mary. As the thing is, this is your last chance. You're gonna make sure when it's launch day, you're a go. If that you have parallel if that doesn't go, but that one can go, that one's going. Because, as we say, this is my scientific brain going on now. We orbit around the sun. So if we're not in the correct position for launch, we could add on how many more years of that 13-year journey.
They mentioned that
to
too.
Play that. So so it's it has to be that date or whatever window of opportunity. So it did know. That's my nerd. That's my watching too many science programs doing it. If you didn't get frustrated of it, I don't mind that. But for me, being ex-military and not you have redundancy. When that happened, I was like, oh, that just wiped out everyone except for the 2 people that were going to go on there anyway. Yeah, it was just a bit. Yeah. So your fault.
Daryl asked the question about communications, talking to an Earthship that is this. They don't. There is no communication with Earth. That's why they have the. Now they don't really go into this in the film, and I think it was like really confusing when people saw that the probes were named John, Paul, George, and Ringo. But when they were being developed to carry back the messages, they called them the Beatles because they looked like little buggy beetles, and then they ended up naming them John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And in fact, they had a practice beetle that they called Pete for Pete Best. Was the practice beetle, the original beetle. But yeah, Daryl, there's no communications. Everything is recorded that is sent with the Hail Mary, and they know they're not going to be able to communicate with the Earth except to send those drone shuttle-y things back, and it's going to take 13 years to get back.
Yeah. I wonder how long, even if you had line of sight communication networks, a string of them.
That's why we got it. Yeah.
If you went into your head, if you had literally every, I don't know, like 2,000 miles, even that, you're still probably looking, if it's 13 years distance, you would even you'll be lucky to get a 5-year message with line of sight.
So the Voyager just crossed out of just went interstellar, right? I think it's Voyager. Is it Voyager that, crossed out of our solar system, and which still could communicate to us, but it would get the message back in a few days. But that's still within our solar system.
Yeah.
It's still within the solar system. This is several solar systems away from our solar system. But I'm sorry, and going back to the communication, by the way, sorry, this just, but the whole model of the solar system that Rocky would make, he'd make models, and then Grace would point and name them, and he pointed to the sun, and what is your name? Saul. And that's when Rocky was saying, we can't let, in the book, can't let Saul die, can't let Arid's son die. The son that Arid has. I don't remember what he says his son's name is.
No, I can't remember. No. But then, yeah, of course, from the explosion, then we go back into space, and then we're doing fishing.
Fishing with a ball, yeah.
Fishing with a ball. So their plan is, Rocky's plan, really, and then, he gets to that Ryan... sorry, I keep saying Ryan Gosling, but it's not. Grace needs to,
Ryland Grace, yeah.
Ryland Grace, and needs to set up is they need to kind of get a ball that will kind of scoop up the Adrian's atmosphere.
The atmosphere,
hoping that they catch some microbacterial in the capsule. What then they need to bring up on the kind of chain to then kind of hoping another Hail Mary that there is something in there that is actually causing it. Of course, this is where 100% it would have been great to know that this is would have been 3 months or 3 years or whatever, 3 years, that he's now quite versed in learning the operation system of the ship, because he can fly it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, coming into orbit, you just go, the passage of time between that is a bit lost. It just needed a little bit of a, here we go. I don't like comparing movies, but I got to compare it because it's in the same author. In The Martian, they come up with Solo 91, and they give a little doop doop now and again to show the passage of time. They just put how many solar orbits it's done. That would have been good just to have that kind of little flash, day 55, day whatever it was. To not have that, it's just a thing.
Even they could have even done it with something physical. I was thinking this, Ryan Gosling, maybe his hair grows a little differently, his beard's a little longer. So there's something maybe physical with him, just to show something, because again, it's this kind of the point you're making is a good one about the flying the ship, because you see in the beginning of the movie he won't even sit in the chair because he doesn't want to be mistaken for a pilot, so the ship doesn't turn on and start moving. You would imagine where he doesn't know what to do. And then eventually he gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, like I have to move the ship, so I have to get in it and fly. But at that point, we don't know that he's learned anything. I think maybe we see some of him looking at manuals at some point. So maybe you get the idea that he's learned something of it. But again, still doesn't seem right. It's like, well, that goes too quick. You can't just fly a spaceship, especially like you don't. That's not just something you know. Yeah, you could put somebody in any car and they know how to drive it if they know how to drive. You know what I mean? Like, even if you go to England where it's reversed, you still know how to drive the car. It's just different. So like if you know how to drive a car, you can drive pretty much anyone. But something like a spaceship's not something you intuitively know you could learn. Like you'd have. So but if you were to tell me by this trip with this project they're going to go on with Adrian that he's now since learned, okay, I just need to know that there was time where he could learn, and that's the thing I feel like it's missing is that it doesn't tell you that there's been that much time where he could have learned.
If they had like they have their was it the room where it's not like a like Star Trek
the holodeck,
not a holodeck, but it's kind of is a holodeck, but not a holodeck. They just kind of get the scenario. You know, would have been good to have out that like for food, like tree, like a plant, like the chili plant or like pepper plant or whatever.
Oh, to show it growing,
and then
something to show, and then time is passing.
And he loved one plant. He kept on feeding it, and then it's like up there. You know, it's grown like that. I mean, it's actually just show that. That would have been good to show that. It just needed something,
and it could have been subtle. That thing could have been in the background, and he walks by it because it's in a common area. Like you could. They could have got creative with it, just to show like. Okay, time is like obviously we know time, right? Obviously we know time is passing. Obviously time doesn't stand still. The problem is there's just nothing around to show how much, to just say
yes.
Like because again, like you said, okay, chili, little pepper plant or something. We all know generally, not everybody's a gardener. Not everybody knows exactly how much time it takes for plants to mature, specific plants to mature. But everybody knows generally it takes time for plants to mature. They go through stages. And just seeing like the plant get bigger, but something like that. Again, it could be anything. It's something clever that is like a universal understanding of it takes time for that thing to look one way and then get to another point. Again, his beard, his hair, it takes time for hair to grow. It takes time for beard to grow. Just something visual to show. If you didn't want to put something on the screen that says, 20 days in, 60 days in, 100 days in. If you didn't want to do that, just something physical on the set to show time is passing, I think would have been a little bit more helpful to understand. Because if you see, the scene before this, if you see that he's just planting that seed, and then by the time they get to, this point where they're going on this mission to Adrian, that plant is now grown to a full plant, then I can at least assess it. Oh, then a couple months have gone by, X amount has gone by, because I know at least that much would have needed to come by for that thing to grow. Or beard, again, same thing. He's got a beard that's kind of, a little bit long. That's probably been about a month. Oh, now he's got a Dumbledore beard. Now that I know he's been, the one he starts off the movie with. Now I know that's been a very long time. That's been a year he's been growing that. Something that's like universal where you could just kind of understand. Okay, I don't know exactly how much time's passed, but it's in a ballpark that I can understand.
Because it's 13 years. So when we first see him, isn't it? Like when we get there. Like, he doesn't age. Like, 13 years of what? He's in his 40s now. He's going to be in his 50s when he gets there, I'm guessing. Or, like, let's be nice.
But there's also relativity. Remember,
I was going to say, you could explain,
age differently in space.
You could explain that away with aging differently in space. And I would agree on that. Because I thought that at first, too. I'm like, okay, it's been a long time. But then I thought the same thing, Sandy. I'm like, okay, age differently in space. I can buy that. You can sell me on that pretty easily. To me, it was just more the understanding of now that he's in space, how are we, showing that time is passing, other than us just understanding that obviously time goes on.
Well, also, that's also something else in addition to explaining radiation to Rocky and having him understand, wow, that's a big part of science that we didn't know, and it could have, killed all of us. Because he doesn't understand relativity, Rocky doesn't understand that while it took him however many years to get to Tau Ceti and however many years it's going to take him to get back, that actually the people on his home planet will be a lot older and some of them won't be there.
Mhm.
And even though they live a lot longer than humans do, that was also kind of a hard thing for Ryland to explain to him, that no, it's actually going to be, it's more time elapses at home than does in space. And
Mhm.
I don't even understand that, but I trust Einstein on that.
I think Interstellar does a good job with that, with some of the stuff they do with those
Yeah, it
planets and the
does.
time travel. I think they do a good job at kind of getting the idea across to the audience pretty well in a way that's easily digestible, understandable, and is just very interesting. It makes your mind
Good
kind of
movie
wonder.
until the end.
I got to rewatch it because I remember really liking it, but I only watched it
like
once,
and
and
then
I don't really remember the end, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
it's
So
one
I'd
of
have
them
to go
ones
back
where
and
I've
watch
rewatched it. And I like it, and I'm like, oh, the ending makes more sense every time I
Yeah,
rewatch it.
I don't actually
Yeah.
remember the bookshelf, right? Okay, it's coming back to me now. Okay.
Yeah. It's like string theory, weird.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's
Okay,
like, okay,
that's coming back to me.
but yeah, so in this we got then, so they've got the well, we don't know it's the Predator thing yet. They've got it up, like he's had to go outside the ship and retrieve it. He's
Lots of
done
drama
his
to
thing.
get it.
A lot
Yeah.
of drama, bang, bang, bang. It's gone all over the thing, and then he gets in things. There is a leak in one of the fuel cells that is making it spin. He shuts it off, but he gets knocked out. So now we have, but he's before he gets knocked out, he's trying to release the last leak button.
Get rid of the
whatever.
last fuel tank.
So
Yeah.
whatever it is, he's trying to, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, like release it. And he knocks unconscious. But so is this where we get the flashback first, or does Rocky come out?
I don't remember how it's handled.
Yeah,
I think it's
a
the
good
flashback,
question.
because I think he knocks out and then we get it, don't we? So we get, yeah, it is, yeah. Sorry, so we
Yeah,
get
that
and
sounds
then we
right.
get- yeah, so we get that he knocks out, and then like Rocky, you can hear him like kind of trying to shout in his own language, and then it goes to flashback is where they are with having a sit down. This is where we get in the trailer as well. A lot is I'm not an astronaut, and this is where they kind of given him ultimatum, isn't it? Really, like not even an
He
ultimatum.
has no choice.
He has no choice. Yeah, it's like everybody's dead. You're the only person that's qualified. We have an engineer. We have a pilot. We don't have a science officer, but you know everything. So you're gonna go. Really, they don't even say that, and they're like, and he's like, I'm not an astronaut. I've not even like I put the not in astronaut. I've not even done a moonwalk. And it's and they're like, and he goes, I need time to think about this. You have to the end of the day. That's it. Boom. That's it. So he goes in. Like the first time you really see from Grace's character a real, I'm going, if I accept this, I'm going, it's a death sentence. And of course he's very weak-minded at this point. We know that from the flashbacks. He's not really capable to make that decision. So we get that, but then we jump forward before he's making that decision. We jump forward into time. This is where we see Rocky, and this is great. I love
the way they showed this with the flashing lights and just little bits of Rocky.
But you don't see, you don't see, and it's good. To see him in his full state. I think they would have done it wrong. Like just seeing that, like an arm, a leg, or whatever you want to call it, just subtle bits of Rocky, and then of course he has to break out of his own. Was it methane? No,
ammonia.
What is it? Ammonia environment into an oxygen-filled environment, and of course he starts to blister, burn up. I don't know what you call it, like melt a little bit. You think the temperature as well. He's freezing, and he clicks out, saves them both, and gets them out. And then he gets him into the medical bay, like to save Grace. This scene was great because it's a rock if you actually think about it from the viewer's point of view. And I was like, please don't die. Please. Like,
Yeah.
I read the book and I'm like, oh my God, do not die, please. Oh my God, game. Yeah, no, save yourself. And then you have that moment of quiet where you don't know like what's going on. Oh, it was great, Jay, because because you haven't read the book, so you didn't know what was going on. Did you feel the same?
Oh, absolutely. I was completely engaged at this point. Like, again, it was the same thing. Like, oh my God, please don't die. Please don't kill Rocky here. Please make sure Rocky makes it out of this. Because you just learn to love Rocky the same way the Grace character does. They do such a good job at applying just basic human elements that make you like somebody: compassion, humor, friendship. They apply all of that to Rocky in such a phenomenal way that, like, you find yourself emotionally invested in a little rock spider, and it's the craziest thing. But as you're watching it, you're right there with it. Like, please make it back. Both of you, please make it out of this, because you get the idea that Rocky's going to save the Grace character. You just don't know if it's going to be a sacrifice or if it's going to be they both make it out all right. So at this point, I'm 100%. I mean, I was invested already, but emotionally, I'm into it. Like, oh my God, please make it out.
And this is what it's got to be like maybe 3/4 into the movie. And all I kept on thinking was, I remember Sandy saying, "Oh, there's something they might have put in, they might not have put in." I was like, if he dies, I'm going to be pissed off with Sandy.
No, it wasn't bad. Well, I wasn't going to tell you anyway. I was
like, oh my God. Does Rocky die? Is this the moment? Oh my! And I was like, Sandy, you absolute bitch! If this is it,
I'm
but that's the thing, because you were like, but it's like making me watch it and then having that emotional. I was like,
Well, they do a good job at like making the damage to Rocky again, because like, how do you damage a rock? Like, how do you show damage to a rock? And they do a great job at, like, again, like you described in the scene, him kind of burning or blistering, whatever's going on, the black smoke coming off of him kind of increases more and more the longer he's exposed to that atmosphere. But then the walk back from Ryan Gosling's character when he wakes up and just seeing the kind of charred ground from the burning, the black marks, the crumbled rocks, like, they do a great job at making it look like essentially like a wounded animal crawling, to try to get away from, or in this case, he's going back to, the bubble to hit back to his atmosphere. But it just looks like, like you'd see in a movie where a wounded animal's just trying to crawl away from whatever wounded it. And you see somebody following that path. So it was really well done with, again, just showing all these human emotions, putting all these human emotions into a rock, but also getting them out of view for a rock. Like, they're pulling all these human emotions out of the viewer for a spider rock character, but also then showing the damage of it to make you understand, like, no, this thing took on serious damage. Really well done scene. I love this. I thought this scene was so well done.
But is it even like they up it as well, because you got the bit about Rocky as well, saying, "I'll stay with you. I'll look after you sleeping. I'll be there."
Yeah.
And then Grace does it to Rocky.
Yeah,
he's like, he sleeps against his thing, and I like it when he finally does the tap 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 tap, and you're like, oh yes, and that just a little tip is brilliant. And then you have then what we kind of missed out a little bit earlier is when he hugs the sphere. Like, well, when he comes, how good, and like those hopefully Sandy felt the same, is when he comes, you see him in his little ball, like ball,
rolling,
and you're like, yay, like that, and he just rolling towards him, and he gets him, and he's like, oh, wait, like Grace wakes up, and he's like, gives him like this awkward hug around the ball. And we've had it before, because he tries to explain what a hug is, or a cuddle,
and Rocky didn't want to have anything to do with it. He's like, must we? This is uncomfortable.
Yeah. But it's good. But of course, whilst
well, let me tell you the slight difference in the book, that there are so many other opportunities to illustrate the difference in cultures, obviously the difference in species, and how that was very difficult to overcome. When Rocky saved Ryland and got him into the sick bay or what have you, when Ryland got back and was conscious again, and he found Rocky, he found that Rocky had those charred bits all over him, including in the little slats of rocks that he assumed that Rocky breathed from. So when he saw all that charred stuff around his gills in the book, Ryland created like an air blower to blow the muck and the crust off of Rocky, hoping that it would help him heal, hoping he wasn't dead, although we thought he was dead. But he scrubbed all that crust off of him. So days and days and days go by, and eventually when Rocky does come back, Rocky shouts at Grace. He's mad at him. He says, "Why you try to kill Rocky?" That was his body trying to heal itself. And
Oh, okay.
essentially what Grace had done was rip a scab off.
Ooh.
Right? When your body's trying to heal, that's
Yeah.
how the body heals. He ripped the scab off. And that it just illustrated, I think it was very well done in the film, and it exactly did what it needed to do. If it had gone into that whole thing, this film would have been 20 hours long. But I think in the book, the reason that, is like, hey, even when you're trying your best to help someone, you're talking about two different cultures, two different civilizations, two different planets. You're going to get it wrong. And he got it way wrong. He could have killed Rocky by peeling the black goop out of his essentially lungs. So he was mad at him for a while, but they got back together again. They were fine.
That's it. But yeah, so they get back into save the planets mode. Now they get what isn't very explained in the movie, but Sandy explained it better over an hour ago. Is the growth pods?
Yeah, where they're trying to make sure they can grow the predator. But what they found out really quickly is that while the predator thrives in CO2, which the astrophage is attracted to, and there's plenty of CO2 on Earth and on Rocky's planet, but what both planets have an abundance of is nitrogen. And they found out pretty quickly back on the ship that the Talmiba can't live in nitrogen. And so what they have to do is introduce nitrogen in very tiny quantities and see if any of the Talmiba are nitrogen resistant, and then over time make those Talmiba breed, and then put a little more nitrogen in, and then the ones that survive, let them breed. And so 86 different versions, seriously, in 86 different iterations, they finally get Talmiba that is resistant to nitrogen. Now, what they didn't realize they were also doing, because the breeding tanks were made of xenonite from Rocky's ship, they were also becoming resistant to xenonite. And they were passing through the xenonite in teeny tiny quantities, but then they were breeding. And so eventually what Grace discovers is there's a leak of the predators because they're eating the astrophage in the fuel tanks. And the predators were all throughout the Hail Mary. And that's why he did the airlock. He opened the airlock and everything got sucked out. And he closed it all back up again. And it happened again. And the reason, because he couldn't figure out where the leak was coming from. So after he did open the airlock, a la Battlestar Galactica, send him out the airlock, he realized, okay, they've got to be coming out of the containers. They're coming out of the containers because they're just passing right through the xenonite. And in a minute after he and Rocky say their goodbyes, he doesn't realize this until they're very far away from each other.
While we get to that, because what we get into this one, like I must say, like, don't know about Jay, I thought the pod, and they just because it came from Rocky's ship, didn't it? The growing pod things, and it just seemed a bit of a coincidence they had it. That like your expiry, like how you see it now and earlier. It just seemed a bit.
He made them on the 3D printer. I thought
that was lucky. That was lucky. That was it. But before
he can make
that,
anything on that 3D printer. It's like a
I just assumed it was kind of like made them off screen type of thing, and that it was probably gone into in the book.
Yeah. But from that, now before we get to that bit, we get let's get a good thing. We get back to Earth time, I suppose, like that flashback. This is where Strat calls him into the office, I suppose, for have you made a decision? And he has made a decision. And the decision is, I ain't going. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm completely going. What kind of makes you go, huh? When he does that, he's like,
Yep.
oh, he's.
I thought I knew this character. Yep.
Yeah, and he's been completely taken by against his will. And this is where I was like, this would have been good to have known he was having memory flashbacks because of a viewer. I kind of was led up to that he didn't want to go, and I wanted to see that serious depression sequence in on the ship, what never came. But if it was a memory sequence, and at this point he's only got it, then would have made sense is why he didn't have that
Because he didn't
moment.
realize that he didn't really want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this, he is, she calmly explains this is, what I'm not sure the whole train now. This is, was it? This is what's going to happen. We're going to kind of induce a coma onto the person that needs to be induced. And he's like, what? And then she gets the call to bring all the other people in. And then they're just kind of like, get him like that. And he runs off. And this is where, of course, like we see what isn't in the character. What is his name, Jay?
Carl.
He's like, Carl.
Carl. Yeah.
He's kind of, yeah, don't worry about it. You're doing the right thing. And
We believe
I don't
in
mind
you.
that. Yeah, we kind of, you do that. So yeah, we let's skip forward. So, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, that kind of, oh, that's why he's there. It's like, it explains it. And then that's it. And of course, then we go back into the moment of like that. Now he's actually done his job. He's actually, okay, he's got his memory back, I suppose you want to call it. But now he's gone into back with Rocky. They figured everything out. They know how to save their planets, but get the Predator. So, but the problem is, at this point is where, we kind of skipped over it a little bit, is I can't remember when it was in the movie, that Rocky...
Yeah, I went a little too far back. Yeah.
Grace and Rocky have a thing is Rocky's going home. Grace isn't going home. Grace has got to send out the pods, the beetle pods, with the information back, and he's going to die in space. He's got enough like food, energy for a few months. Then after that, so he might be able to stretch it out. But after that, but then Rocky goes, "Oh well, how much fuel do you need?" Because I've got this much, and he tells him. So then, oh, well, I can give you the fuel. It will add on another 7 years or something
6 years to his journey. Yeah. But for him, we live long. 6 years, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm doing it for my friend. And you're like, oh, that's really nice. So they run things, and then they just they say goodbye, kind of. Like just fading out into the darkness, like that. So and they have to cut the kind of the umbilical cord to their friendship, doesn't he? He has to grind it off his ship. It's a sad moment because you're like, oh, kind of, because you've had this friendship on there, between them, and of course, what Sandy just said is, this is when he kind of the realization there's a leak. Into it, and then Grace has got to come up with, well, he's only got two options really. It's go home, save Rocky, because Rocky is going to die. So this is it. You can save your own son, or you can send the information by the pods, save your son, but you'll die, and the other option is go to Rocky, save him and his own son. So I like this kind of dilemma. Is like, well, hold it, I'm going to die now, because of course he knows at this point, we know he can't survive in Rocky's atmosphere.
Well, what I also like about it too is that it basically becomes, you know, what's more important, you making it home or you saving Rocky at the risk of your own life? And what I like about it is, in the scene prior to this, when he's kind of going through the process of being told, or a little bit prior, not just exactly prior, when you have the meeting, basically telling him that now you're going to be the one who has to go up to space. They specifically point out that he has no family, he has no wife, he has no kids, he has no anything. It's just him on his own. So I kind of like the idea of him, making that decision. Like, even if this means I'm going to die, what do I have to go back to? Rocky has his mate, because we kind of skipped over that part too, where Rocky talks about his mate that he's had for 180 years or whatever it is. So he knows, again, it's that bit of, we just kind of saw him be a bit of a coward. And this is that redemption of that, that noble act of, why it's more important for me to go again, not just because he has a mate, because of what he meant to him. He was just stranded in space with nothing. Rocky saved his life, saved his sanity, saved everything, or was at least part of the equation, because they both kind of save everything together. But in what Rocky means to him means more than, his own life at this point. It's really touching, this, everything leading up to it, from the goodbye to that realization that, Rocky's going to die now, to him making the decision. It's all just a really touching series of scenes.
And then, I've got to go. So it's literally, he makes the decision. He releases the information by the pods, and then he's on his way to Rocky. It's you can't get, as an audience, quickly get there. But they've been weeks away, because like he's doing it on the, more than weeks, isn't he? Because he's mapping it out, I think, on months, the
something
calendar.
like that.
So he's trying to get there as quickly as he can. And it's I do like the sense of Rocky's not going to be there, but movie magic, they're not going to do it off screen, and Rocky's going to die. But when he goes into like Rocky's ship, and he's dung 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 dung, and like trying to get his response, and he's like the worriness of Grace's face, and then all of a sudden you just, after a while, you just hear just a little patter of Rocky's feet. It's wonderful. I do like it. It's a great embrace, and then they kind of do their little hug thing, like my hand slap or thumbs up or whatever on the window is like, and then I'm here for you, buddy. You're like, yay. They don't, but from that, they don't really explain how. I'm guessing Rocky went on Grace's ship to the home. They don't really explain it.
Oh gosh, I forget. The Rocky had already figured out, but it was too late, how the Talmiba was getting into the astrophage. So, Rocky's ship was essentially out of fuel. I think there was still a way for them to blast the Talmiba out of his ship, but I can't remember. I can't remember how that happens. I don't remember. I don't remember if he goes on the Hail Mary and the Hail Mary goes back. I'm thinking it was. I think he did. I think he went on to the Hail Mary, and the Hail Mary headed off to Rocky's planet, and then hopefully, obviously, someone sent a shuttle up to get Rocky off, because the Hail Mary couldn't land in Arid's atmosphere. But they could bring the cure back. They put some of the cure on the Beatles. The Beatles got to Earth. Earth figured it out.
Bit, they do the Strat. She looks older.
Oh, much,
like
yeah.
That. She looks much older when we see her, and then she's like she's watching his video diaries. I met an alien like that. She's like that, so it's good. But then we get now the realization of he's possibly dead, and then it quickly. Sorry, I'm gonna do it. Spoilers. If you've been here so long, but I'm gonna do it one more time. He's in I'm going to call it human homestead.
A biodome.
Let's call it that. A biodome.
Yeah, biodome. Not to be confused with the one Pauly Shore in.
Yeah, please. Not
was
to
it
be confused.
Stephen Baldwin?
Baldwin.
Was he the one in that movie? Same one from Usual Suspects, I believe. Oh, you've never seen Biodome?
Oh,
No.
Oh God, that's
disaster of a movie.
Is
Sorry.
I'm guessing it's don't watch it.
It's like a classic, really bad comedy, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's Pauly Shore and I believe it's Stephen Baldwin. The one that was in Usual Suspects. I always get the Baldwins confused.
It's a B movie.
Yeah, it's so bad, but it's just nostalgic for me because it reminds me of the 90s.
Never heard of it.
Oh God, it's not good. I wouldn't say I recommend it. You should look up a trailer for it.
Not on
I would recommend looking up a trailer for it just so you can see how ridiculous it is. But it's a bad movie.
Yeah, but yeah, they've recreated his what that little dome thing. Yeah, the beach on the dome for him. So he's literally on the beach, and they're like with Rocky. They're just having a little. They're like again. Now they both can understand each other. They don't need a translator. Like he speaks English, he speaks back, and they just don't need it. So like you think it's
this is when I finally realized how Rocky. This is kind of when I put it together. I'm like, oh, so Rocky was just able to understand English way sooner than he was able to understand Rocky.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happened. Yeah, and it's they kind of have a little sit down after he's in like a skeleton pod of what he's made previously.
Yeah.
And this is where our scientists have figured out how to get your shuttle home. We can get you home. And he's now Grace is in a little bit of a I've got to make another decision realization. And yeah, he let me think about it, and then he goes off, walks down to the thing. Sorry, go back then. And yeah, he's whilst he's having his little thought, he opens up he's opened up a school. So he's doing exactly what he's doing on Earth. But he's doing it on what's the planet called?
Arid.
He's
teaching the Iridians the rest of science, kind of the science that they got a little bit wrong because they had never left their planet before.
Yeah.
So and he's asking,
what is a speed of light? And that's really how that's the movie, isn't it? That's that is literally it. It's quite a bit of a hello. Yeah, so it's kind of it's fun. Let's say that. It is a very fun. So it's regardless about a lot of things. Sandy, you must have opening numbers and facts and figures. Must be. You must have.
I didn't do the slide, but I'll share the beginning number, which is the budget. We kind of talked a little bit about how much this would have cost. $248 million to make this film. So it's got to make over 500 to be profitable. It was not released. This is not like a Marvel Cinematic Universe release. So it's one that's going to have to build momentum. I think the projections for this weekend was something to the, it started out at 30 million. I think they've already moved the projections up to 60 million. So it's doing really, really well in the cinemas that it's in. I think it's going to gain momentum. Who knows if it'll make 500 million, but my God, it deserves it. For number one, there's nothing else out there. It's absolute garbage. It's very rare that any of us say, oh, yay, let's go to the movies. I did want to ask before we start kind of, digging into, our opinions. Did either of you see a trailer that you were interested in before this film?
Bloody
Funny you should say that. Yep.
Oh my
I had that one. Honestly, I'm trying to run through it. There was a George Washington one.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, it's called Young Washington.
No,
so
I
if
didn't
you're
get
interested
that
in that, which I know with history you guys may be. There was. I'm trying to think what was there. So
Did you
it
get
was
the Mario movie one.
I did not get the Mario movie in this one. I got it started off with Mandalorian and Grogu, and I immediately was rolling my eyes like, God, I'm so sick of Mandalorian and Grogu. By the way, Rocky, way better than Grogu. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
I said it to
Rocky's
my husband.
way better than Grogu.
That to my husband. I said, screw Grogu.
But I got
Yeah.
that one. No, nothing. To answer the question, no, nothing. Spider-Man.
memorable,
I am
right?
interested in the Spider-Man movie, but that
We didn't
I
get
had just
that.
seen it online, so
Yeah,
I
the
already saw it.
Spider-Man, because the trailer came out like 2 days after.
A couple
I saw
days
it,
ago,
so we
yeah.
got that.
So that was one. I mean, I
we
love
got
Spider-Man, so I'm always interested in that.
Supergirl.
I did not get
That was the
Supergirl
other
on
one.
I
this.
didn't
on
get
mine.
that one
I didn't
either.
get it. I got the only one outside of like Spider-Man because I got He-Man. I got a lot of the regular stuff. that
He-Man.
we've kind of
Oh,
already
yes,
seen.
He-Man as well. No,
What
did
did
we
you
get
all
He-Man?
think
I
of the
we did.
He-Man? I actually thought it looked
So,
okay. I was interested.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think the trailer looks bad. I just don't have a connection with He-Man at all. He-Man and Thundercats were two shows that were just before my time, and
Yeah.
they were
I
on still
have
during
the
my time. They used to be on Boomerang. Like they were on all
Yep.
the time when I was a kid. I just never cared for them. So unfortunately, I don't have any connection with you. I'll
I have
watch
the
it.
box set
Like I don't have an
I
issue
have
with
the
it.
box set of He-Man.
Oh, really? Oh, see, yeah, I've never been a He-Man fan, nor have I been a
used to love
Thundercats.
He-Man. At the
so
end of
it's just
He-Man,
not
they
for
always
me.
used to put this like, "Hi, now we're going to tell you about life." They had this little,
Oh, is that a
like,
thing?
30-second
Yeah.
thing of like, dude, when you cross the road, remember to look left and right. You know, stuff like,
Oh,
do
no
not talk
kidding.
to strangers. Is like a weird thing. It's like that weird ones about like, if
Yeah,
you meet somebody
Duncan
who's
would
got,
come on and tell you,
yeah,
to be
like-
nice to your parents or whatever.
yeah, and like other little weird ones. I remember seeing one, and it always broke because I'm adopted. Like explaining adoption to people who didn't know adoption, or people like if you meet somebody who they live with their mum half the day of the week, and then like that dad, and they live in 2 different homes. It's because their parents still love them, and they would go like, and it always be like we one character explaining it. It would be funny. I used to love it. It would be great.
They used to do that with G.I. Joe, didn't they, too, back in the day? Like
Yeah, I
some
think
kind
it
of
was
stuff
the
at the end,
same
like some
thing.
learning stuff at the end.
I
I
think that was
wasn't really
UK
either,
thing.
but I just feel like I remember seeing memes of like those informative things they would do after
Transformers,
the
you have
show. Yeah.
Optimus Prime telling you how to cross
Um,
the street. Now, the other trailer we got that my husband and I were both very intrigued by was the Michael Jackson biopic.
Oh, the
we didn't get
biopic, yeah.
Michael.
Michael.
I want to watch it. I do want to watch it. I
I
really
do
too.
I do
I'm
too.
intrigued. Yeah.
So that one
It
comes
has-
out here. It comes out on April 24th. So 4 weeks from next week.
I'll have to look at it.
Wow, it's that soon, huh?
Yeah.
I did. I've seen the trailer when it came out, when it was released online. I didn't get that one for the movie.
No, I didn't get it. Yeah, I
There
like,
was.
"Ooh."
And then did you get the sheep
I knew they
detective?
were making it.
I
but
did get the
didn't
Sheep
realise-
Detective.
I am
Yes.
intrigued by the
What?
sheep
I did.
detective.
It's a Hugh Jackman movie. It's a kids family movie.
My husband thought that was the coolest thing. He's like, oh,
It does look like
this.
it looks like a fun, cute little family friendly movie. It's essentially a sheep herder who like reads his flock of sheep, or herd of sheep, I guess, whatever the hell it's called.
A flock. I think
He reads. I think it's flock, right?
Yeah,
I'm
he
getting
reads
confused
to
with
them.
that and the term sheep herder. Regardless, he reads to them these murder mysteries, and then it's Hugh Jackman's the sheep herder.
All right.
And then he's murdered. So like the sheep take it upon, and the cops are very inept and not very good at what they're doing. So like the sheep take on the murder case for themselves, and it's like a little. It's. I mean, with the amount of I've
What's
just
it
said
called?
murder, it doesn't sound like it'd be a family movie, but it
it
is.
looks cute.
It is
The
a
sheep
family movie.
Murder
It
detective.
seems like. Yeah.
Ah.
It did look like a fun little family friendly
Yeah.
movie. One I will say that intrigued me, but there was almost nothing to it. Did you get the one? It was an A24 movie, and it was just a chair in a room, and it kept. I'll have to try to find it and
No.
send it to you guys in Discords. I can't remember what the name of it was. It was a chair, like a old looking armchair you'd see in like an old grandma's house, and it's like a still shot of it, and there's some narrative going on over it, and the shot just keeps changing, like as if you're lowering floors in a building, and every time the chair's like in a different,
yes.
like sometimes it's half in the wall,
the
sometimes
computer
it's
game.
half in the floor.
Oh, what's it called?
I have no idea. I'm watching the
No.
trailer, just like, what is this? This is interesting.
It's a computer game. It's a computer game model. Oh, it's the,
Oh, so I was not familiar at all. But it's by A24, and I usually
Oh my
watch
God,
anything
I've
they
literally
make.
gone blank now. It's a model. It's what they some guy did it open source of like, here's my computer program. You can make games in it, and he just opened it up to anybody. But it has the same network, so it's the same kind of structure. But it's got massive.
But how is it a movie?
Because people made it into horror. So it's a
Well,
horror
it
kind of
seemed like it had a
thing. So it's
horrific, a horror
you
kind
are-
of vibe
It's
to
a
it.
labyrinth. It's it's a lost labyrinth. In the game, you have to go through the labyrinth, but if you go the wrong way, you start all again. So it's really frustrating.
okay.
Interesting.
And that's it. I can't remember what it's called. The
I'll send you guys a trailer in Discord because I
I've
have to
seen
figure out what it
I've
even
seen
was.
The first one, and they lower it down.
Yeah, I
like
missed
that.
the name, so like I couldn't even tell you what the name was. So I have to try to figure out what the hell it was, but it was very interesting. Just
I
off
know
the
what,
kind of weirdness of it.
What's
That
the
was-
famous streamer Queso?
Uh-huh.
He's done it quite a lot
Oh,
of times.
okay. All right, let me look it up in the background here. I'm curious.
Backrooms, the Backrooms.
That's it. That is it. The
That's
backrooms.
the
Yep, that's
Backrooms,
it. Yep.
Yes, before everything. Yeah. And
Okay,
it's
so I didn't know it
literally
was a game.
And people are built onto it, and it's just like amazing. So you've got all these like indie
Interesting.
or want to be like, yeah, I want to do stuff, and they've done it as a like, great idea. You want to be a coder, but you can't do the infrastructure. We'll give you the infrastructure. You make the game. So then that's it, and that's how they've done it. So there's loads of different ones you can do. It's quite an interesting thing. But how is it a game? Sorry, a movie. Don't know, Sandy, but it did intrigue me to find out what it is about because it looked interesting.
Okay.
I agree. That was the only one that stood out that I was like, that was very odd and very interesting. I want to know more.
Yeah.
The rest, like I said, there was Spider-Man.
It's always something in the back room,
the normal stuff.
Yeah. So
Awesome. Well, you guys can go see that, and you can let me know how it is. For sure.
Fair
See,
enough.
the worst thing is, how weird is this? I jump to horror games. I don't jump to horror movies. I'm not a jumper to horror game.
Well, horror games are very intimate. You're there with it. Like you're in the room with the game.
And they tend to do better suspense, I feel like, these days. When it comes to horror movies, and I'll be fair, I've been out of the genre for a while. So, if you're a horror movie fan, maybe I'm totally wrong. But it feels like it's just shifted into how gross you can make movies and stuff with horror that, like, I don't know if the jump scare still a big tactic in horror movies, or is it? I don't know. I don't watch them much anymore, so I wouldn't know. I find games to be more creepy and
What
scary.
was the rip off to Scream? Scary movie,
like the spoofs.
Oh
yeah,
my God, scary movie. That looked great. I'm not gonna. I think I gave up after like 2. And
I stopped after 3 because 3 was when it got away from the Wayans brothers, and they started kind of doing a different thing. But 3 was still pretty funny, honestly. It wasn't as good as the first 2, but now the Wayans brothers have it again, so they're back.
Yeah, they were like, we are going to offend everyone. And they went, we've gone full in. If you're going to take offense, you shouldn't watch or go to comedy movies.
Hey, fair enough, fair play.
And I was like, yeah, that trailer.
And it seems like it seems like in the trailer they take shots at every side, both sides, whatever you want to look at it. They look like they go after everybody.
What's the trailer? And I was like, ooh, now that's interested me. That's interested me. Anyway, Hail Mary, Jay, you go first because I know you got out.
So honestly, I really like this movie. I really enjoyed it. I knew nothing about it. As you guys know, I've watched The Martian before, and I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I left it feeling kind of bland. And I like we've talked about, I need another rewatch of it because I feel like I just wasn't in the right headspace to watch it when I did. It was kind of like everybody says this is good, let me throw it on, and I just didn't give it the attention I think it deserved. So I do want to rewatch that one again. But in terms of this one, I found this one to be a bit of a lighter tone than I remember The Martian being. I liked the amount of kind of humor they put into it. I think I like Ryan Gosling. I think he's a pretty good actor. I think he does a great job, or an underrated comedic timing actor. I think he can be pretty funny, and he's got good kind of back and forth with people that he acts with if there's a good chemistry there. I think he always brings a lot of charisma to things. It kind of depends who he's working with. And somehow he managed to find charisma with this Rock character that, speaks in a bit of a robotic kind of tone and all that. And the two of them, they just play off each other really well. I like the way they play into things like, language barrier at first, and even just species barriers, the different customs, different things. Rocky not totally understanding him not totally understanding Rocky in terms of some things. I thought the two of them were great, to be honest, as characters. And I think the actor who does the voice work, I believe Sandy, did you say he does the puppeteering as well? The guy who voices Rocky?
He does. Ortiz. Oops, I just lost it. James Ortiz.
Such a good job with that, conveying like emotion and just conveying as much as he can through that very robotic style of speaking. So credit to him. I know he obviously won't get as much because he's not, you know, his face isn't in the movie and all that. You'll have to, like, you know, everybody knows Ryan Gosling. When you see him, you'll have to kind of look up the IMDb to see who played Rocky. But credit to him. I think he did a fantastic job with it. I really liked the story. I thought it was interesting. I liked the flashbacks. I kind of picked up on the idea that the flashbacks were as memories were coming back to him. And I kind of really liked that, to be honest with you. And just in general, I thought it was a fun movie. I kind of expected something different, but I wasn't disappointed by getting something different, if that makes sense. I expected it to be a little bit more dramatic. I expected it to be a little bit more heavy on the science, to be honest with you. I thought the science was pretty straightforward, easy to digest, easy to comprehend. I didn't think it was over the top. I do agree with Stasis that at some points I kind of almost wish they went a little bit deeper into him just being a scientific genius, to the point where it would almost lose me a bit. So I'd have to think about it a bit more. But I'm also fine with the fact that it was totally digestible and I was able to take it all in and not feel like I was confused either. So I like that it was a little easier on the science while still being incredibly, you know, science-based than some other movies who kind of, you know, try to do things like this. And again, I really appreciated that kind of lighter tone because I just wasn't expecting it. Even just like the mystery of figuring out why this star, or I keep saying star, why this sun, you know, isn't being affected the same way all the other suns are. I, again, thought there'd be a little bit more mystery into trying to figure it out, but then it's pretty straightforward. Oh, we found out it's these microorganisms. They're the predator. They're fighting off, you know, these astrophage cells or things, whatever they are. Again, straightforward, not that much mystery or anything behind it. They kind of just figure it out, let you know, and then we're moving on to the next thing, which is how do we capture them? You know, so for all that, I really liked it. I think across the board, acting's good. I can't think of, you know, it's really heavily just Ryan Gosling and the, you know, the Rocky character. I'm already forgetting the guy's name. Sorry, what was it? I want to make sure I give him James Ortiz. I want to make sure I give him his credit because I think he did a great job. But that, you know, it's basically just between James and Ryan this whole movie. You know, you get the other characters who I think do well. Obviously, the main woman for the group, again, the names are just slipping me right now. Is it Strat? Strat.
Sandra.
I think she does a great job. And even just the other scientists, you know, the little bits we see of the two people who pass away on the trip that were when they were alive, I think they do good in their roles. Carl, I really like the Carl character. I know he wasn't real, but wasn't in the book. But I like the Carl character. Like, I think even the smaller roles, everybody acted, you know, well and brought something to the table. I think the main critique I'd have for it would probably be that passage of time. I think that's one thing they could have done a little bit better, because it would have just minimized some of the points where I'm, you know, wondering how exactly is he already flying the ship so well? How exactly is Rocky picking up this language so quickly, or has it even been that quickly? You know, those kind of things. I just wish I knew a little bit more, or yeah, I guess that's the way to put it. I wish I knew a little bit more how much time passed in those things through any method of doing it. If you wanted to put it on screen, put it on screen. If you wanted to use, you know, a prop in the background, a physical, you know, thing like a beard, a hair, anything, just something to show me some passage of time. So I'm just not thinking everything's so short in terms of the timeline. Because I'm thinking that way, it almost makes me think I'm finding holes and other things like the speech, like the piloting, all that. So those holes might not actually be there if I just understand that, no, X amount of time has passed. He's learned this, Rocky's learned that. That just would have, I think, helped me, you know, process that or come to terms with, you know, those things happening so quickly, or what seemed like so quickly. For the score, I'm struggling on where I want to fall in the score, to be honest with you. I kind of want to give it like 6.5 for like all the technical aspects, but I liked it so much that I almost want to give it another 0.5 and call it like a 7. I really enjoyed this movie. It was one that caught me so off guard. I knew nothing about it. I didn't expect to like it or have as much fun watching it as I did. And again, not in the sense that I thought it was going to be bad. I just didn't think it was going to be that light in tone and that fun to watch. Like, I wasn't expecting that much comedy. I wasn't expecting that little bit of odd couple with the two. Like, that's just things I wasn't expecting for. So I don't know where I want to fall in the score with this one. I feel like talking about it, I really want to lean closer to a 7. because I just had so much fun watching it, and then so much fun talking about it and kind of replaying it back in my mind. I think, to be fair, I'll fall on like a 6.8, but it's a super strong 6.8. I recommend it. I really liked it, and I was super surprised by it.
I think that's quite fair. A 6 point, and this is our first 6.8 score.
Of all
But
time.
that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it was funny
Sandy,
because
before you can't do your score, you'll do your last because you can do the
no,
comparison.
no, I
You can do
won't.
your
But I
comparison.
do want to say like about the scores though, just for a second. You know, I think when we started film club, we were on whole numbers.
Oh my
and-
God! But I said everybody do whole numbers, and I think it was Sandy when I want a 6.25.
It might have
well,
been me because
we
I've
went
done
to
a
a
few of those.
6.25.
We went to a 0.5, then we went to a 0.25, and then I think Jay, you had a 6.2, and then I had a 7.1,
Oh,
and then
God.
it's hard.
I could
the
always
more-
knock off 1.15 off Twilight. Anytime.
Yeah.
It's just so hard sometimes because it's like you get caught between, like today I feel so caught between two scores. I really do like, and if you ask me next week, give me a little bit more time to digest this, I might bump it up to a full 7. Like I came out of it really like it. It's just there's those few bits. It's like I said, it's that passage of time issue that kind of compounded into creating other issues a little bit while I was watching. Again, not issues, but some more so things that like, again, I had to kind of have a conversation with you guys about just to make sure I wasn't like, did I miss something with the language stuff? Did I miss something? Did we miss something with the piloting stuff? So it's like, I want to lean to that highest score because of how much I liked it. But I also kind of want to be fair, not be hypocritical, because I've heard other movies in the past for having those same issues. So it's one of those things where I don't want to let my enjoyment overgrade it. So I kind of fall right in that 6.8, but it's a really strong one, and it's a movie I really enjoyed and would recommend. I'm going to review it as soon as probably tomorrow when I get a chance to.
Good.
Very,
I'm
very
looking
good.
forward to that. All right, James, it's your turn.
No, I've had a week to digest it.
You have.
That might be why I'm struggling too, is because
Oh
I'm
my God.
just coming off of
it
watching it
gets
heading
worse.
into this stream.
It gets worse. It does
Good.
get worse.
Good to know.
It's
see it again.
because I went there and I was like, I expected something completely different than what we got, and it was, but it was good, and I really enjoyed it. I sat there going, I'm really enjoying this movie. It's a great. It's visually it looks great. I love the direction. I love the humor, and then but the one thing I did miss, and I'm going to put it on, is the science that was missing from it. But then I understood is once you meet Rocky, you're like, it's not about that.
Exactly.
It's a buddy story. It's a buddy. It's a
is.
friendship story. And I completely agree. And Jay, you took the words out of the mouth. Everything you said about the time lapse, the explanations of like how did they get to that conclusion really quick, messed it up with me so much. Now this is going to be quite short because I Jay, you said everything I agree, because I need to rewatch this multiple times. That's the sense of a good movie.
I need to and want to.
And I guarantee my score's probably going to go up because there's nothing I didn't dislike. I just want to know more about what I just watched. I was so, this is that. Oh, I didn't expect this kind of movie. I was like afterwards, and even Jade, she was like, she had a take, and I had a take, and we all like that. But we both said, we need to rewatch this. We need to go and watch it again. It was so a development of a story that you're like, did I miss something, or was the things? But I really thoroughly enjoyed the ride, and that's what movies should do. It made, like, I eat my popcorn and loved it. You know, it was just like that. Just what in the cinema, the colors, like when we got to Adrian. Oh, that was like all that scene.
Beautiful
Loved
looking
it. It was
movie.
great on the screen. Can't beat the acting. Ryan Gosling. In certain scenes he did a Ryan Gosling, and then certain scenes he didn't. When he was with Rocky, he didn't do a Ryan Gosling, but when he was on his own, he was playing Ryan Gosling. It get a bit frustrating, but I dismiss that because you have the connection with everything else. The missed portion of time is frustrating. The quickness to the science bit is there because of the portion of time that is missing. I've been flipping, and I think Jay's got it right. I've been going, when I first come out, I went, it's a 6. No, It's a 7. It's a 6. 6.5. It's a 6. Like I've been jumping like that, and I can guarantee if I watch this again, it'll probably go up to an 8. But at the moment, I'm going to go with what because I've not watched it again, and my head's going, oh, I need to. At the moment, it's a 6.5. Guaranteed that's going to go up. I can guarantee that's going to go up from a review. Like I'm going to rewatch it, and I'm going to get, I enjoy it more. I have enjoyed it more. I've enjoyed it more. Because I think this is one where you can't just watch it once. I think when your first thing is when you're completely blindsided of what you're seeing, it's so over. Woo! That's it. So I thoroughly enjoy it. Everybody go to the cinema and watch it.
Yes.
Because
I would recommend that as well. Seeing it in theaters if you can, or if you're willing to.
It's the colors. It's not an epic movie. It's the colors and
it's a beautiful one, though.
Everything. It's beautiful. It's very well directed, well done. It's the best thing I've seen in a cinema for a long, long time. That made me gone, that's really good. And it's overcomplicated my mind. Sandy, well recommended, go and see it. It's not The Martian. And anybody's thinking they're going to go to The Martian, because I was like,
that's, I think, what surprised. Yeah, I think that's what surprised me the most. Is I was expecting something more like that, and I was honestly expecting something a little bit darker in tone than The Martian too, with the idea of the sun and learning what I learned from the trailer. But I actually expected a slightly darker tone than The Martian.
Yeah, but I would love, and this is agreed, and people are greedy, I would love to see the unedited version. If they went so close to the book, what Sandy is saying, like they seem to have done, there must be bits they've just gone, you can't have it that long. You need to short it down. Because this could have been easily over 3 hours, and I wouldn't have cared, because it went so fast. Was it 2 hours 30?
2 and 36 minutes, I think.
There you
Something
go.
about that.
You could have put another hour
Oh,
on that, and I wouldn't have cared.
It went fast.
Because you're engrossed, and then that time passage, especially when Rocky gets introduced, you're so involved in their relationship with a rock and a human. It's it's great. I could easily have more. I was like, when it got to the end, I expected something else, only because I wanted more. And I was like, oh, come on, I just need it. So it's great. It's great. One of those ones where you go, you know what? I'd probably like to read the book. And I think that's it. So that is one of the things. It's highly credible. Yeah, it's good. My score is not going to be my score. It's literally the score as I saw it on there, because my
I feel the same way.
Next year.
I feel like by next week I'm going to push it into a 7, if not high. I really enjoyed it.
100%. I'm going to add. It's going to go up. It's not going to be the ones I'll go, no, it's. I gave it a good score, and it's bad. It's going to go down. This is. I can see I'm going to enjoy it more. It's like that. I just need to absorb it more. It was just
a lot.
So that's it. But there's mine. But Sandy, thank you for making us go to cinema. Also, bloody great going to the cinema.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
nice.
fun little fact, or fun little, I guess, fact, but fun little kind of anecdote to my experience watching it today. So I found out that the theater I went to had what's called these D-box seats, which is a new thing to me. I wasn't aware of. Apparently it's not all that new though. So it's those seats in the theater that kind of, they move. They're on this like mechanism that they can move and tilt and vibrate and give you these haptic feedbacks. So I watched it with one of those. If you get the chance to watch it like that, it was really cool. The spaceship stuff and all that. Yeah, rumbling the seat and tilting back and forth. It was really cool.
So you could have
really cool. No, believe it or not, I thought the same thing. And I even looked up videos last night. 'Cause I'm like, at first I had to figure out what D-box was, because I saw it listed specifically in the ticket purchasing. And then like it's extra like $10. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I'm going to pay an extra $10. And a lot of the videos were like, by the way, you won't spill your popcorn in these because it's not that crazy. So I was like, oh, good to know. But yeah, it was a really cool way to watch it, honestly. So if you get to watch, I would recommend watching it in theaters, even if it's just regular, for the sake of the beauty of it on the big screen. But if you get the chance to see something, or see it in something cool like one of those seats, definitely do it. It was really cool.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, go on then, Sandy.
Jay, you have to jump. I completely.
No, I can stick around for your review here, and then I'll jump.
It won't be that long. But first, thank you both, because I really, I was excited for this film. I was excited for it 3 years ago when I finished reading Project Hail Mary for the first of what will become 3 complete read-throughs that I've made, and most recently the audiobook with Ray Porter narrating, and it was fantastic. He is a great reader. Um, my concerns before going to this film were many. I love stories about a disaster happens and we've got to science our way out of it, or we've got to, come together as a team. You all know I love the real life story of Apollo 13. A terrible disaster happens, limited resources, you're stuck in space, you've got to use all the tools that you have available to you, but that's it. And just use your smarts to get out of it. I always gravitate toward those stories. So this was really interesting to me, reading the book and just being completely absorbed by this book certainly set a high bar for the film. Now, the book, for some comparison, the book, The Martian, is 369 pages long. The book, Project Hail Mary, is 496 pages long. So it's 130 pages longer than The Martian, about one quarter longer than The Martian, but they both have the same running time. Okay, so The Martian is 2 hours and 31 minutes. Project Hail Mary, 2 hours and 38 minutes. So going into that, we know more than a quarter of this book has to go. And are they going to pick and choose the right pieces of this very complicated story to leave out? And I knew going into this film, that's what I would be judging the film on, not all the other things we judge a film on, but I was really going to be comparing it to the book. I think it did as good a job as it could have done. Could they have left out a few things in the film to bring in a few more things from the book? Yes. Did we need karaoke night? I don't know. Did we need to sing the entire song and give Strata a whole song to sing? I don't know. Could we have found a few more minutes to do, to your point, a little more science and explain the passage of time? Now, in The Martian, we had multiple ways of explaining the passage of time. He had his video diary that he was keeping. He was communicating with Earth, and he was counting his rations every day. If you remember, how many potatoes does he have? How many days? That was actually a core item in the film, was the passage of time, because he had to get off the planet or help had to come before he ran out of food. That similarly was a theme in the book. That was all but cut out of the movie. The rationing of his food. Would he have enough food to come back? Even when Rocky said, I can give you the full fuel to get back, he would not have the food to get back. And there was also a sub-theme of, well, Rocky's ship has all this food, but there was nothing that Grace could eat. And they did a lot of work to figure out if there was anything in Rocky's food that Grace could eat. And there was absolutely nothing. There was no way to engineer it so that he could eat it. Now, I'll give you a little spoiler from the book. At the end of the film, he decides to live on arid. So what did he eat? They couldn't engineer anything for him to eat. He ate me burgers, M-E burgers. He cloned tissue from the muscle in his arm to create little clone meat of himself.
Gross.
He ate me burgers. That's how, because that was such a theme throughout the book of him running out of food. They had to solve it for him staying on arid. So yes, he spent the rest of his days on arid eating me burgers. Overall, as you've said, the performances I think were really good. The cinematography I think was amazing. The color palette used, the lighting, the use of practical effects. Rocky was awesome. I can't wait for my Rocky doll. It's going right here next to my Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, are they doing Rocky dolls?
I hope so. I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
My one other criticism with the film, coming back to the karaoke scene, I don't think the music fit the film. And however, I think the 3 trailers had amazing music. And one of the trailers used Sign of the Times, the same song. Another trailer used a synth version of Prince's I Will Die For You, which I thought was amazing. and I forget what the third one was. I don't like how music was used in the film. Does that take away from the film? No. I think if I were to look at the film by itself, and I was lucky to watch it with my husband, and then to have the two of you watch it after not having read the book, I kept thinking to myself, well, I've figured things out because I know the book. Would someone who didn't read a book struggle with these things? And you did. The passage of time, some of the solutions, some of the technology. This could only be a perfect film if it was 2 films. It would have to be 2 films. It would have to be 6 hours long to cover everything that's in this book. So it can't be. I think they made the best choice about how to do a really big subject. I gave the film a 7.25. It would have been a 7.5. I do think just so much was cut out that probably leaves most audiences confused. And whether it's the sciencing or solutioning, or hey, what did happen? How did they get back to Rocky's planet? And it took me a minute, and then I remembered, yeah, they went in the Hail Mary because they had to abandon Rocky's ship, I think. Just a few, so minor. All of that, we're being really, really picky because this is what we do on Film Club. And I'm being super picky because I have the book. I highly recommend this film. I'm going to watch it again. I think I'm going to take my dad. I'm going to watch it again a few more times like the two of you. And that might, my score might change. Overall, tremendous, tremendous work was done to do the absolute best they could with a really fantastic book. And I think they did. I think they did do the best that they could. 7.25 is a really good rating. Go see this film and read the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you can be, unless you hate sci-fi movies and space movies, I don't think you can come out of the cinema going, that was it.
Right. You'd have to really not like the genre.
Yeah, you don't. I don't like space movies, and I don't get sci-fi.
I can genuinely say, because I'm just trying to rack my brain to think of recent movies. Yes, it is about time. It's about time for me to hop off here. But I will say before I go, I can genuinely say that I think it's the first movie in a long time that I'm actually rooting for it to do well at the box office. I hope it does well because I enjoyed it that much. I really do. I can't think of another movie where I left it thinking, wow, I hope this does well. I want to say it did because there was a lot of, that was what, 2015? Movie theaters were still popping back then, and that had a lot of buzz. So I got to imagine it did, but I don't know for sure.
Let's see. The Martian. It had a budget of 108 million. It made 630 million.
Oh, okay.
That is a little fun fact. So we got home
10th highest.
Probably 11 o'clock at night after watching the movie. Got in, turned on the TV. The Martian was on BBC Two.
They always like to time things like that.
I was like, literally, it was halfway through the movie, and then like Jade come in, and she was like, "You're kidding me? Why would you put this on?" I went, "No, it didn't. It was already on."
The BBC did it, not me.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, you don't get a choice.
Like,
All right. Well, on that note, guys, I do have to jump. So I will pay attention to whatever the wheel is. Well, I know we got Remember the Titans next, and then I'll pay attention.
And then the Prestige. So we're good for 2 weeks. We did it last week, so we have the Prestige. We don't have.
That's right. We do have Prestige. That's right. Yeah,
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and we won't do it next week because we don't know why. Maybe
I will say though,
maybe get a book.
One thought I want to leave you guys with is I think we should consider doing more of these specials for movies that we're anticipating coming out. These are a lot of fun. It was fun to go kind of do a live show, on a movie that just came out.
There are rarely movies that we want to see. I'm with you.
That's definitely part of it. But when we do find ones like this, if we can agree, it's one that we all actually would take the effort to go see. I think we should do more of these. This was a lot of fun.
I love it.
That's it. Yeah.
On that note, guys, take care. I'll see all of you next week.
Oh, Jake, can I just mention one thing? Canadians.
I knew it. I knew it. Bruins are the best. Gotta go.
Go. Oh. Sorry, guys, but Montreal last week. I think it was on the Sunday, wasn't it, or whatever? We beat Boston. So yeah, we got to have some clout there. So that's it. We can't have a film club without talking a little bit of sports, can we, Sandy?
James, who lives in the UK, but says we when the Canadians win.
It's the royal we.
It's truly the royal we, the Commonwealth we.
The royal we. We can't have
the Commonwealth we. Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to play the trailer for Remember the Times. Now, nobody knows how this got on the wheel.
I didn't. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it, so I don't know how this got on the wheel.
Or I either never seen it or I didn't like it. What did I put on here? Did I say I've never seen it?
I don't know.
Titans. Oh, I put I don't like it. I put I don't like this.
But it's weird because it will be our second Ryan Gosling. And this was our first Ryan Gosling.
2 in a row, Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
2 in a row. And this is our first Denzel Washington. So that is a thing. But nobody knows how we got there. So it sneaked on somehow. That's it. I think I've definitely seen it. Maybe once or twice. That's it. But yeah, it's American football, isn't it? So I don't think it done well over here. But anyway, this is next movie, Remember the Titans. So no spoilers. We can just play it.
You smiling. Why are you smiling?
Football's fun.
You think football is fun?
Yes. No.
No?
Certainly. But it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it? Is it?
No, not by now.
No, it's not fun anymore. Not even a little bit.
Zero fun, sir.
All right.
Coach Boone's school board made the decision to put you on my staff. I did not hire you.
Well, I came up here to coach you. I didn't ask to be assigned to your staff, so I guess we're both in a situation we don't want to be in.
If they keep on playing like that, we'll lose every game.
But I can guarantee you this, Coach. I come to win. We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. Get up, boy! Get up! Get up! Get up!
Still weak on the left side.
We're not weak on the left side.
It's not the problem.
What is the problem?
I don't need you up on my face all the time.
I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. I want you to tell me something about one of your teammates.
I'm rooming with Blue, sir. He wears those leopard-spotted underwears, bikini style, sir.
Okay, maybe somebody who's not your roommate. Each one of you will spend time every day with a different teammate.
Huh?
They're gonna make a big star out.
Does the term cruel and unusual punishment mean anything to you?
If you lose a game, they'll fire you.
One game, just like that.
Brother, don't you know me and your mama
Went out on the
town last night?
What did you say?
What happened to you?
Man, I just gave your mama a piggyback ride and she weighs twice as much as I do.
What's going on?
We wanted to let you know we was going to warm up a little different tonight.
We are the Titans, mighty Titans. Listen, baby. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low.
We're gonna let these people know who's gonna win state, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Greek mythology, the Titans were greater even than the gods.
We're going to change the way we run.
They ruled their universe with absolute power.
We're going to change the way we block.
For that football field out there tonight, that's our universe.
We're going to change the way we win.
We don't let anything, nothing, come between us.
We are teams.
As it's based on it's actually on a true story. So this is going to be one of the ones where it's going to be analyzed. Was it real? And that's it, because we had the Iron Claw was near enough right, except for they missed out one of the brothers. So this is going to be dissected, but we don't know who did it. Don't know.
That should be a fun watch.
It should be a fun watch, yeah, except for the American football part. So that's it. But yeah, then we've got Christian Bale and what's his name? Oh,
The Prestige.
What's his name? Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. We said it earlier. It took a minute.
No, but I can't remember Hugh. I was like, I can't remember Hugh Jackman.
I was thinking of the sheep detectives.
The sheep. But I think what we need to do, chat, we need to catch up on the thing. So this is, I'm going to probably do an executive that because we're 2 weeks but in front, that would be that. So this week that we'll do this one this week. and then we'll have a one week break from the Will. I think that's good. But everybody loves
Are we
The
doing
Will.
an Easter break?
Yeah, there we go. An Easter break. There we go.
Yeah.
But The Will. Daryl, this could be your week.
It has to be, Daryl.
It has to be. It has to be. I don't know what. I don't know. Jay's been hot, so I'm gonna guess it may be another Jay movie. So he's been on a couple of wins lately. That's it. But I do like the Will shrinking. But if we do more specials, the Will isn't increasing. But
Yeah,
the
the
film
wheel
club
is
will
shrinking down just below 200. That's not shrinking, James. That's still 2 years.
A few
out.
more years. There we go.
Good. Yeah.
There we
Wheel
go.
is
But
not
let's see what we get. Here we go. So we got Remember the Titans, the Prestige, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Come on, Western. Oh, good grief.
Oh, it's
Couldn't be different from a Western.
There we go.
Sorry,
Short
Daryl.
circuit. There we go. Oh my God.
Now, who put that on the list?
That's got to be me. That has to be me. That
Okay,
has to
it
be me.
says me, but
Johnny
it definitely
Five
was not
is
me.
alive.
Yeah, it says me, but it was not me.
Was
I
it?
wonder
Okay.
I wonder if somehow our little a few columns of our list got a little screwed up a little bit. Not
Who
sure.
cares? Johnny Five's alive.
I'm putting you on there.
It's
Jay
gotta
has
be- it's
not
gotta be
seen
me.
it.
Jay wouldn't have seen it. Or maybe he
Oh.
did, mate.
No, he's not seen it. At least according to the
Okay.
tracker, he's not seen it. All right.
Let me get
Lots of good 80s music.
a good
1986.
86. We're going back to 1986. Oh God. Oh God, terrible trailers. Let's get a good trailer.
Okay, it's going to be that song "Who's Johnny," right? Who's Johnny? Who's
Is
Johnny?
it?
Is that the new
Uh,
edition or one of those 80s boy bands?
Let me.
As Daryl says, "Oh Lord."
It's a fun, silly movie.
It is.
Okay, I think it's a. I think this is the best. This is the best trailer. This is the best. And it's not a good quality trailer, but let's do it anyway.
Oh goodness.
It's the ultimate soldier.
It doesn't get happy, it doesn't get sad, it doesn't laugh at your jokes.
It is quite simply the most sophisticated robot on Earth.
At Nova Robotics, the future is in good hands.
You're doing real good. Just keep working on those last 2 bars.
Thanks to Dr. Newton Crosby.
Originally, I designed it as a marital aid.
But artificial intelligence has gotten too smart.
No. It's malfunctioning. It might not do anything.
But it could decide to blow away anything that moves, couldn't it?
Because $11 million worth of robot just hit the road.
Wow!
Number 5 is alive.
Welcome to my planet.
You just have to find number 5, get some answers.
Why don't you come on in my house?
And it's got a lot of living to do.
Whatever it takes to put that stupid contraption out of commission, that's what you do.
Me input. Haven't had enough of this stuff. More input. More input.
And they can seem quite lifelike, but they are still machines.
Oh. Number 5 is alive. Nice software. How it happens, who knows, but it has happened.
A new comedy adventure from John Badham, the director of War Games.
They're gonna be after you. We gotta get out of here now. He's alive!
Ali Sheedy, Steve Gutenberg, and Number 5.
Beautiful.
Short Circuit.
I am alive.
That was so typical 1980s. Oh my
Well,
God.
there's a shout of- How many police academy people in that? I didn't
Yeah,
realise.
really.
That's it. So there we go. Sorry. Yeah, 100%. That's not a Western. Sorry, Daryl.
Sorry,
Once
Daryl.
again, like we're getting it. The more you got to think, the more we take off the list, the
Your
more
chances
closer
are
you
going
are
up.
to one Western. There we go. But we got
Mercy.
another AI one. We've had the Terminator, so
Oh, that's
we've got another
true.
AI computer generated, except for the AI Johnny Five doesn't rip out somebody's heart, let's say that, and want to stamp on it. So yeah, we got a little bit of. I haven't seen this in years, so it'd be quite interesting to have that take there. So Sandy, when's the last time you saw Short Circuit?
Oh God, probably in the 80s.
There you go.
I saw it, but I don't really remember it. So
there you go. Johnny Five's alive. There we go. So a little bit of fun. That's it. But all good. It's really weird because it's really early for me now. Normally by this time, this is me getting a little bit hyper because I'm in the film club now. But normally the end of the 3 hours, I'm going, I need my bed.
Yeah.
But now it's only 9 o'clock my time. It's quite interesting. So
well, I can actually have dinner with my family because I usually don't. You have your dinner before film club, and I have mine after. So no, this work, and the sun is still out. Oh my gosh, sun is still out. But I'm tired. My walk today was over 2.5 miles today.
Ah, you did a walk. Where was that?
I did. So in Washington D.C., one of the letter streets is Q Street. That has some of the oldest townhomes in the city, and half of it is on one side of Rock Creek and the other half is on the other. So I did the half going east, that's 2.5 miles. Next time I'll do the half going west into Georgetown. Had a really good walk, great sunshine, lots of people in chat, like 60, 70 people in chat, having a good old time. Met a lot of new folks. So yeah, it was a good day today. Hope the weather holds up tomorrow as well. Lovely. And I hope the weather's well where you are.
I do. We got the kid was literally very excited for the sun today. So literally, hopefully it's very good tonight. Had his martial arts course and class, and then he was like, oh my God, the sun, I want to go for a bike ride. And he just went all into it. So that was very, very good. So we're doing that. But yes, but everybody, remember the Titans. Now I think we got a couple of Disney movies. Then haven't we? So remember Titans, I think Disney. Short Circuit, I think is Disney. Pristine, I don't think is Disney, but we never know. Might be Disney time. We've not had. Have we had a proper Disney movie?
Not a proper no.
No, we haven't yet.
Because
we haven't.
We had A Bug's Life. That's not Disney.
No, that was no. We haven't had a Disney.
When we get to the Lion King, that'll be a Disney.
That's Jay's. That Lion King is Jay's, isn't it? What else he put? I can't remember what else he put on there, but yeah, we got a couple. But everybody, that is also very, very, very good to watch. Go and watch that. That's it. I've got trying to get my kid into it. He went to a birthday party. Was a Lion King famed.
Oh, get him into The Incredibles. I love The Incredibles. That's my favorite, but that's Pixar.
Yeah, kind of. Go get him to Star Wars. Get him watching the whole lot of Star Wars. Yeah, and then go.
The good Star Wars.
Don't watch anymore.
Daryl. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, Chuck Norris passed away. I forgot to. Yeah, that was. It was interesting. All
shock,
the memes,
wasn't it? That was a shock. That was literally emergency in dump.
Yeah. But all the memes going around yesterday were fantastic. It was something like, no, Chuck Norris is not resting in peace. Chuck Norris allowed peace to call. Like, it's like he's in charge, right? And all the memes
were
that
was the whole thing, wasn't
very
it?
appropriate.
Just the kick up, the last kick ass of that era, literally. Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. That's
it. And again, in such good health until this.
Great health, great thing. Some of the movies, unfortunately, our film club, they're not great movies. Some of them, but do you care? Because Chuck Norris is just doing Chuck Norris.
Well, let's see. What would have been a good one? Let's find a high.
It's got to be with somebody else. It's probably one with
high-rated one. Yeah. Okay, so one of the higher ones. So A Force of One. I don't remember that. Silent Rage, I remember that. Force Vengeance, Lone Wolf McQuade, Missing in Action, that was a big one. Code of Silence, Delta Force.
Yeah.
The Hitman, and then television, Walker Texas Ranger. I mean, in America, he was Walker Texas Ranger forever. Martial law, dodgeball. Oh, I forgot he was in
he in
dodgeball. Oh my God, he did a cameo as himself.
Yeah, the commentators, isn't he?
I was it a commentator or did he
He's like,
just come in as himself, like to critique maybe his
I
color
can't remember, I
commentator or
can't
something?
Mm.
Yeah, just so sad.
Yeah.
84. That's not enough time. That's certainly not enough time. But rest in peace, Chuck.
Yes, Chuck. Awesome Chuck. But on that note, God bless Chuck Norris. Kicking ass in heaven now.
Amen.
We're going to go. Everybody, watch out for see. I'm going to now send you to somebody who normally doesn't stream on a Saturday.
Oh.
Night, Mr. Porkchop.
Mr. P is doing, what's he doing?
Mr. P, the hunter, the call of the
He's
wild.
doing, oh, the very peaceful, the hunter.
There we go. So we're going to a little bit chill. So everybody, go and take the piss. Because that's what I do in each stream.
I think you should.
But everybody have a great rest of the weekend. This has been fun. Thank you, Sandy, for making us go to the cinema.
Thank you, James.
On the behalf of Jay as well. But everybody have a great rest of the weekend. It's really weird. I'm going to end film club really early. It feels like I've got another 3 hours left. But yes, but normally this is a thing. We're not going over the 4. But everybody
James,
have a great
when
one.
does your time change? Next week?
Not next week. The week. The Sunday.
Okay, so everyone continue to watch for an adjusted time on the East Coast for Film Club next week. We'll still be an hour early.
Change from to BST on the thing. So yeah,
got it.
I got it right this time. It's EDT.
It's EDT. Yep, Eastern Daylight Time.
Right. Yeah, I got it right. But everybody have a great one. Daryl, we will get a Western soon. But for now, remember this was a spoiler one. But for now, everybody have a great one, and we'll see you in the next film club for Remember the Titans. Nobody knows who put it on. For now, bye. Or thumbs up, Sandy.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.